We're good.
Good. Welcome to Ventura College, where the football season gives us one last fun afternoon. 47th Annual Ventura County High School All-Star Football Game presented by the Downtown Ventura Lions Club and the Ventura County Football Coaches Association. I'm Joe Curley of the Ventura County Star, here with just a couple coaches. Former Fillmore High head coach Sean Miller, who coached in this game last year, coached the East, and Joe Schmeigel, former Newbury Park and Arizona offensive lineman, one of the great line coaches in Ventura County. Took a little bit of a hiatus this season to work in the media.
I'm so glad you're nice to me today. Guys, it's not always that way. Joe's not always that nice to me when we're in the car sometimes talking about politics.
It's only when the camera's on am I nice.
He just knows that maybe he might need me again at some point this year. That's about it.
Right. Smart. Joe did a tremendous job this year doing color commentary for the local Ventura radio broadcast.
And that was really fun. I mean, the county needed it, and the county needed radio back. What's football, high school football in the county without radio? It was so fun. And for me, playing here and coaching here and then coming back and doing radio here, I got to see a lot of different games that I normally wouldn't be able to sit and watch. Sean, I got to check out one of your games, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's great. This is Johnny Smith, Oak Park quarterback / kicker, kicking off. So obviously the West are going first. So is this Jesse Valenzuela? Yep, Jesse Valenzuela of Camarillo returns it.
He had a heck of a year for Camarillo this year. Caps off 3 years on varsity for Jesse Valenzuela.
He's a good player. He really is. I mean, Jack Willer does a great job with that program, and you're going to see some of these guys from Camarillo that come out, and they're just really well coached.
Yes, they are.
I mean, the big thing for me is it's the thoroughbreds sometimes versus the quarter horses. I don't know if that's a great analogy or bragging on kids, but who's gonna tackle Malik Sherrard? I mean,
well, look at the backfield. Now that Xavier Harris is playing, you've got Xavier Harris, Jesse Valenzuela, Malik Sherrard. It's like a who's who.
Yeah.
It's like they scored like 30% of the touchdowns in the county this year.
They were all at the top of the list.
RJ's the quarterback.
And Sherrod gets the ball first. That's RJ Maria of Pacifica, obviously the state champion quarterback, handing off to the Ventura County Coaches Association MVP right there.
And they're going quick.
We've got some issues with the chains already.
It's Kyrie Wilson there, committed to Cal Poly from Pacifica. It helps when the head coach is from Pacifica.
It does. And you got your quarterback, right? RJ's back there being the quarterback. You got your running back. You got your receiver. That does help a lot. And talking to Mike before the game, Mike Moon, he was excited. He's a competitive guy. He's like, I'm going to get on these guys. I want to win this game.
Well, you figure you go to state, and then now these kids have a chance to play together one more time, right? They're going to say yes. Oh, Malik Sherrod breaks a couple tackles.
And that's what it's all about. It really is, and sometimes you miss that now because you see people missing bowl games and everything else because they don't want to get hurt. But these are high school kids that are playing together.
Look at some of the big names in this game who are guys who are committed, who are
from
going.
The West, from the West.
And are playing despite the injury risk.
Yeah, you love that. You love to see that. Love of the game.
Malik Sherrard, Fresno State right here.
Here he goes again. Reminds me of last year when I coached in this game. We had the DB defensive back out of Westlake, Cameron Fabiculan, and went to the University of Washington. Man, he wanted to play special teams, defense. He wanted to play it all. And, those are the kind of kids the coaches want. They just love the game.
That's great. That's great to hear because I coached this game, I don't know how many years ago with the Newbury Park staff, and there was a lot of guys like that. There's some guys that just really didn't want to be there as well.
Broken up.
Good defensive play by the East there. It looks like it's Cooper Ehlers out of Oak Park. And the Simi Valley defensive back.
I think that was Elijah. Was it Leyva or was that? I don't see a 4.
And that right there is going to tell you where football is nowadays. Because with that ball in that situation, that safety would usually take the head off that guy.
Yep. Now they've learned how the refs are going to call it nowadays.
That is a sack for another Simi kid.
That's Molidar?
That's Molidar.
He's a good player.
Michael Molitor.
I got a chance to watch them and do one of their games, and he did a heck of a job. That quarterback that's coming back from Simi,
Throckmorton.
He's good. I'm not sure where Jim got him from, but hosed him down and brought him over.
They always seem to find their way to Jim somehow. But I saw Throckmorton in 7-on-7 over summer, and man, he can spin the ball. He's the real deal. So excited to see his senior year.
All right, so the West drive to the 44. The sack ends the first possession of the game. And is this Scooter punting? No, it's a Ventura kid.
This is Zach Rodriguez from Ventura.
Zach Rodriguez punting.
Goes out. Bounce inbounds. That's got to be Leyva, yeah.
18.
Yeah, number 3.
So we apologize with some of our trying to figure out who's who. They're all wearing their actual high school uniforms. So you get a clue from what team. We can recognize the jerseys, but
and some kids are wearing the same number.
Yeah,
they are.
Do our best.
There's a lot of similar numbers. Yeah.
But it's great. These kids get a chance to come out here and play another football game. Some of them will never play football again.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of cool. You immediately kind of see where the kid comes from. You know what I mean? You know the colors and that sort of thing.
I like the fact they trade decals, and everybody's got different decals on them. And Blake Sturgis here at quarterback.
Did you play in this game, Joe?
I did. We're going to bring that up. But I wasn't part of that fight. That was not me. I'll go back to it. Phil Pedersen was involved in that.
Now you're
now one of our
pointing fingers?
Yes, I can point fingers. I was on the other side of the field, and it was ugly. And I'm glad, as I put on Facebook, that we're a more civilized society, that we don't have that happen that much anymore. Yeah, right.
So I believe was that Matt Morey?
Yes, it was.
So look at these two coaches. Obviously, you could argue the two coaches who had the most successful seasons locally, probably the most successful overall season, Pacifica going and winning the first public school locally to win a state championship, and Oak Park, the only 10-0 team, so probably the best regular season team. Oak Park's running the East, and probably the best overall season, Pacifica running the West. Maybe that's a new tradition.
Casey had a great year.
Yeah,
they beat a good Simi team.
Very good Simi team.
I'm not telling you who I was rooting for in that game, but you can probably tell who I was rooting for.
Blake Sturgill with the pass complete.
Nice.
Speaking of Oak Park,
Braden Hutton right there.
Speaking of Newbury Park.
He caught some nice passes from Ben Goldbrinson this season. He's already up at Oregon State, unfortunately,
and they had to face King Kong every single week. So this All-Star game's not going to face either one of these guys. And Braden was good, and Tyson Lundgren. Yes. Actually, after the regular season, Newbury Park didn't make the playoffs, but Tyson Lundgren led the county in receiving yards. And
amazing.
It really is amazing. And,
tremendous,
both great kids. You can see them playing on the side together.
Comes from a really great family, people who are invested in Cal Lutheran. His grandfather is really famous for being a Cal Lutheran super fan.
Yep.
He's got a shot maybe to play for the Kingsmen, which would be a really cool story for us.
Yeah, I played at Cal Lutheran, and
you
always know the Lundgren Center there, and so that's a familiar name for all the Cal Lu alumni.
And his old man played there.
He's the candy man.
Right?
The old man, and then. But the grandfather, whenever Kalu scores a touchdown, he throws candy to the fans.
Oh, does he?
Delivers candy to everyone. So, your kids will love to go to Kalu because they get free candy when they score.
I'm on keto, so I don't want any candy.
You might not want to take
You can keep the candy.
Until you go see the
keto.
Well, you look pretty slim for a former offensive lineman.
I'm trying. It's hard. I just hit 48. It feels like I'm 98. It's unbelievable.
So I'm struggling with who's in the backfield right now.
It looks like
Is that Maury still?
It looks like you got the Royal running back Gabe
Landless.
Okay,
that's Landless.
They're trying to set up a screen there to Braden Hutton that gets deflected. 2 out of
7. That's who started in the backfield for the. Okay, that's when you get sometimes with the jersey numbers too.
Yeah, Landless
you can't read the font.
He didn't have his 7.
Yeah,
he didn't have his stats updated throughout the year, but Landless had a great year at Royal. And he was actually dealing with a shoulder injury almost all year. So he's happy to come out and play healthy.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't have a better win-loss record because they had some good football players on that team. But like we said, the ball shaped funny things happen.
Yeah.
And
3rd and 8 for the East. Looks like we're going to have another series-ending sack.
Oh, that's by Junior Patino out of Nordhoff.
There's the Nordhoff. He caught a touchdown pass in one of the games I covered over there.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for Sean.
He did us dirty at Fillmore. That was a good Nordhoff team this year, and Junior Patino was a big part of that on both sides of the ball. At defensive end, you saw their gain the sack on 3rd and about 8. But on offense, playing tight end and lead blocker, and You know, he did it all for Lance Wiggins over there. Lance runs a great program. He's a good guy. So I'm happy to see them do well.
Lance did good. He did. I was impressed. I was impressed with your team. I was impressed with his team. Both really well-coached football teams, and it was a fun game to call. That's for sure, especially in a small town like that. People don't get a chance to see that kind of stuff.
Gianni punting.
That's Valenzuela with the ball.
Valenzuela with another return attempt.
Tries to stay in
tight
bounds.
roping the sidelines. Gianni's really excited about that punt.
He's a kicker at heart. He loves being a kicker. You know,
he's an undefeated regular season quarterback, and he brings it in punting and kicking. He did something really cool too. He had this really long hair. Well, Lauren and I did a video on it where he went to Westlake and cut his hair, donated his hair to charity, to Locks of Love, it's a nonprofit that weaves wigs together to help sick children who maybe have lost their hair.
Yes.
Gain confidence back to
awesome.
fight through their cancer. So, I mean, an amazing, and obviously he's an amazing he's playing soccer right now,
That's what's tough about having in the winter. You got soccer players, basketball players trying to come out and make practices. Well, no surprise we saw a couple, drive stall here on offense. It's hard to put together an offense in 2 weeks.
I got to tell you what. This East defensive line is just kicking the West offensive line rear ends right now, which is a little surprising.
I mean, they've surprised them.
It is. You got Ibarra's on that team. That's Ibarra from Pacifica is a big young man, and he's trying to play offensive line at the next level.
Yeah.
He's got Font. Oh no, that's Xavier Harris.
Xavier Harris is loose
on the seam.
Can anyone catch him?
Anybody tackle him?
So that's Xavier Harris.
Just like the regular season.
With a 62-yard catch and run, getting the West into the red zone for the first time today. That went from the 19 to the 18. So 63 yards. Xavier Harris, who up until yesterday wasn't expected to play in this game. He took an elbow in the face during a Oxnard High basketball. Another multi-sport kid playing in season right now, but coming out spending a Saturday playing one last football game.
Yep.
Got a fade up to Kyrie Wilson, just like the state championship game. Is it inbounds?
Oh.
No, it is not.
And Xavier Harris is a great kid. He's going to Montana, and it tells you how tough the kid is. I mean, Oxnard just overused him, and I mean, listen, I'm an O-line guy. Please run the football.
They had a great offensive line and Matt Cortez and
watch out for them next year because they return a lot of guys.
Yes,
they really do.
2nd and 10 from the 19. That's
Valenzuela.
Maria keeping the ball around the right corner inside the 5. That's a 13-yard run.
And maybe they heard me. Right?
Run the ball.
That big old man up in the box is telling me I'm getting my butt kicked, so I'm going to turn it up a little bit.
They can hear. They don't need a microphone to hear Joe from the box.
They can just read my mind. Is that what it is? Are you telling me I'm loud?
That's a long 4, maybe.
Yeah.
Maria. We got
inside
it's
zone.
Valenzuela, touchdown West, taking the lead. Jesse Valenzuela, who spent much of the year leading Ventura County in scoring and touchdowns, we'll give him, this will be his 30th touchdown of the season.
And it seems like he's 30 years old because he's been around forever. Is this guy finally going to graduate?
That's what happens when you rush for 1,000 yards 3 straight years for Camarillo.
He's a good football player. He really is.
That's what I said, 3 years on varsity, and then I thought to myself, was it 4? I don't know, it's been around forever.
It's funny, I actually texted Derry Heeds because I looked at his Max Preps profile. I was like, he ran for 1,000 yards 4 straight years because they have their freshman stats up there.
Oh, okay.
So he had 4 straight 1,000-yard seasons for Camarillo. The first one was a freshman season.
That's an interesting thing that you bring up because nowadays everybody's thinking, I got to get myself a scholarship. I've got to play as a freshman on varsity or at least a sophomore.
Yep.
I mean, it doesn't work out that well when you have freshman kids playing varsity football just because people are doing different things. An 18-year-old and a 15-year-old, they have different things going on in their life, and now you're meshing them together. And I don't know. I've coached for a long time, and I've never seen it work out that much. How about you, Sean?
Yeah, it's tough, especially these young kids. You don't really want them to specialize that much from that young of an age. What I love about Fillmore, coaching in Fillmore, is every kid plays every sport. Right. And so the kids, they move in and out. Now, sure, coaches nowadays, they want them in the weight room all off season and all that. But it's good, for training different muscles and just different, dexterity, hand-eye coordination, playing basketball, football, baseball. those things are all good for these young kids not to, overuse or, that's why we're seeing so many, I'm seeing, surgeries and injuries and stuff that happen to kids at a young age, younger than you'd expect.
So because we're in an off-season situation here, no clock today on our broadcast, so I'll try to keep you abreast of the time left. 5:48 left. First touchdown of the game was scored with 5:48 left in the first quarter. 7-0 West over the East. Scooter Carranza, who I believe led the state in scoring, kicked the extra point. The Pacifica senior.
My biggest disappointment was not getting to see the Fillmore-Santa Paula game.
I know.
I mean, the longest Ventura County rivalry, at anybody, and the damn Flyers.
Yeah, it was very disappointing. And, I feel bad for the seniors, the kids out here. It's good for, it was a great story about Victor Duran that I think Joe did. Yep. And, how he talked about he missed that game. It would have been his last game. And he's a great player. It's good that he gets to come out here and play again. He's one of the best route runners that I've coached against. So
the Fillmore-Santa Paula game is one of the great rivalries in the country. I come from a place where they've been playing each other on Thanksgiving Day for over 100 years. The oldest rivalries in the country. They've been playing since before football looked like football. And the Fillmore-Santa Paula rivalry, when you go there, you go to that game, it's just one of the great occasions you can experience.
Yeah.
And obviously it's tragic.
Yeah.
To not have that this season.
Yeah.
But you're talking about a community that was literally under fire.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so, the fire had just started the previous day.
The night before.
Yeah.
And it was just, it's a tough situation for everyone. Everyone wanted to play the game, right? Santa Paula wanted to play the game, Fillmore wanted to play the game, but it just didn't work out that way. But you're right, that rivalry, one of the greatest rivalries in the county, and those communities care. They care a lot. See what Blake Sturgill can do here on second and long. Trying to go to my Fillmore receiver. Ryan Gonzalez just threw his hands.
Good protection right there. Yep. I mean, the play before DJ Diaz absolutely took the head off of the running back. That's good football right there.
Yep.
You love watching people run around and whack them. Now, on defense, I talked to Coach Moon before this game, and I said, what's the rules? I mean, what I remember is you can't blitz. He says, we're not going to blitz, but we're going to bring 4. So, obviously, he loves running his 3-5 defense, and so it looks like they're blitzing, but they're really not. They're just bringing 4. But it becomes difficult sometimes to be able to get that 4th guy.
That's Elijah Leyva with the catch on third down.
And apparently the Leyva family's right in front of us.
Yeah, we got his personal fan section right here. It was a good catch by him.
So, you talk about the Santa Paula Fillmore rivalry. You come from one of the great rivalries around the Simi Royal rivalry.
Love the Simi Royal rivalry.
So what did you learn coaching in the Fillmore-Santa Paula rivalry game, delivering one of the great wins in recent history in that rivalry last year, upsetting Santa Paula's undefeated season.
Yeah.
What did you learn about that rivalry? Finish that thought.
Those rivalries, those kids come in so amped up, right? Emotionally, they want to perform well in front of their friends and family against that rival. But
Smith shanks a punt.
Shankalicious.
But, the biggest thing coaching-wise is just to get them to settle down as fast as possible. As soon as the first play happens and you hit somebody across from you, it's just like any other football game. And so that was the thing of 2 years ago now, I guess, that game that we played in.
Right.
Was that we were able to get through the first half and not be down by too much. I think only by 14. We eventually went down by 21, but the kids really just believed in the system and kept fighting. It was like you said, it was a great game. It was fun to be a part of. And
Ricky and
Ricky Calderon had a game of his life, and
Jared from tight end making big
plays. Jake Saviors at quarterback. It was really fun. And you mentioned coming from the Royal Simi. Royal Simi attracts thousands of people out to that game every year, which is fun. But that Fillmore-Santa Paula rivalry, those people don't like each other, man. They really don't like. Royal Simi, they grew up in the same towns. The kids play together in youth ball and stuff, so they're friends, to some degree. But Fillmore-Santa Paula, no love lost there.
My former colleague Bob Butita had that game year after year after year, and I'm like, Bob, when am I going to get a Fillmore Santa Paula game? The first time I get a Fillmore Santa Paula game, I show up. I'm here hours before. It's great. The place is packed. Every seat is full already hours before the game. It's unlike any other game. that you cover.
Well, I love it. It's like old school high school football. These communities, these high schools play with their hometown kids. There's up years and down years, and I always laughed after I won that game and how much everyone cared about that. I said, well, as long as I beat Santa Paula every year, my record doesn't really matter. They just
exactly. It's true.
Oh, finds Aaron Fontes there.
That's Aaron almost not fair.
Across the middle. He's so good.
He is so good.
So we were covering the Westlake Oxnard game where he converted a third and 37. It's a guy who converted multiple third and 37s on the year.
I think
he goes up and gets the ball.
But I didn't count how many third and 37s that I was announcing by a lot. And Hawk, my guy who does play-by-play, does a great job. He kept on saying, "What are they going to call here?" I said, "I don't know. I've never drawn up a third and 37 play.
What is it? That's what you're going to do.
That's what you're going to do.
Yeah, sometimes
or go empty and throw it up to Xavier.
Yeah, sometimes you have kids as a coach that just make you look good.
Sherrod to the right at his on 4th and 1. Uh-oh.
What? I just hit him in the mouth. What do you mean?
I'm just holding him
Julio
down.
Ray and
Newbury Park kid.
Julio Ray, who's a kind of the passion behind that Pacifica team.
It's like Cole and
Getting
Nesto.
into it.
And Cole did a good job this year as a linebacker for Newbury Park, but that.
Referees deciding how they want to handle this.
I guess we have to. We have to mention that one of the reasons this game got moved from June to January was to minimize, some potential issues. There was a couple years where there was some fights involved, and so a couple coaches made the argument that if you play this game in January, you're kind of you have the opportunity to have some control over the proceedings.
Got a little more control over the kids. They still got to finish their senior year of high school, that sort of thing. But Cole Nesto, like you said, great year in Newbury Park. He's a high motor guy. I love the program that Jason Klein is running over there.
You seem to keep your guys. I mean, it's easy in Fillmore. It's not so easy in Newbury Park with the guys recruiting like crazy over there.
Yeah, you got to deal with a lot of programs over in that Conejo Valley.
And talk about that, Joe. What happened with Oaks Christian? There's nobody here. I heard that the coach never even responded.
So
what happened?
I think one of the big issues in this game, in this particular game, is you look at the West roster. It's full with the best teams this year in the West. You've got Pacifica wins the state championship, Oxnard wins the PVL, as Malik Sherrod.
I mean, there you go. That's to your point. Malik Sherrod, one of the best players in the county, playing in this game. He's committed to Fresno State. He doesn't have to be here.
So
look, he's a dancer too.
It's important to him, and he's playing. And you get the best players from the West playing. The best teams in the East have been, Grace and Calabasas and Oaks maybe. And there's one player combined from those three schools playing in this game, Danny Valenzuela, who's an offensive lineman from Grace. So there's no Oaks Christian kids on the East roster. There's no Calabasas kids on the East roster. When you coached the game last year for the East.
Yeah, it was a similar story last year. And, it's a shame that the kids aren't out and able to, represent the county and have a good time, play this game together. Really, you get to meet the other kids that you played against all year. It's a fun situation for them. And so it's just a shame that more of them aren't able to come out.
But not to respond. Come on. I mean, who are we?
So I did talk.
Are we better than everybody? Is that the situation that we're becoming, that we can't respond?
So
I mean, come on. It happened to you a lot when you were dating girls in high school, Joe. I mean, this is high school football.
Well, it just becomes apparent when all the Pacifica kids are out here, the Oxnard kids are out here, right? It just becomes painfully obvious.
Right.
So Malik Sherrod, who in practice loves to line outside and make plays as a receiver, is just made plays in the passing game 2 of the last 3 plays. Mm-hmm. I will get back. I did speak to Casey Webb, the park coach this week, the East coach, about that situation.
We can go. I mean, let's talk about Malik. I mean, everybody was late to the dance with him. The colleges were, and it shocked me because of a couple things. Number one, he is lightning fast. He's a good kid.
Vision.
And the way his vision, exactly, Coach.
His vision.
His vision is tremendous, and his ability to cut is so impressive.
Oh, Xavier Harris. It's going to be a
poor guy got a face mask when he got. So in the same week, he gets elbowed in the face in a basketball game, and now he gets a brutal face mask takedown.
I think every ref wanted to take their chance.
That was a Magic Mountain. Is that what that was? 6 flags.
Getting a little happy.
But Malik, and he's stuck with Fresno, even though Fresno had a whole turnover.
Yeah.
And I coached with Coach Tedford, and I hope he's feeling better.
I'm covering the state semifinal, and the whole San Jose State coaching staff is there because the recruit room's so hard. Obviously, San Jose State and Fresno State are rivals.
Yeah, it was
so
interesting.
So that was a big decision to make. First and goal from the 2.
But going back to Malik, like you said, he got slept on. It's
Here's
hard
Harris
not
again.
to.
He's going to get his score.
Yep. There's
touchdown West. Xavier Harris.
But Malik Shaw's only 5'8", 5'9".
Yeah.
So that's a big thing, for college recruits. They'll look at that height, but he deserves it. I mean, I can't wait to watch him play up there at Fresno State. So someone's got to talk to him. Last night I'm watching these kids' highlight tapes, trying to get familiar with the kids I haven't got to watch. And Malik Shaw doesn't have his huddle highlights in his Twitter profile like everybody else. What's up with that?
You just have to watch the plays of the
year
show up, from the Ventura County Star. Half the plays they're
right.
It's all Jesse Valenzuela, Malik, and Xavier Harris.
Right. He doesn't have to.
They had some great years. Scooter again, good. 14-0 West. 20 seconds left to go, first quarter. You have to say that the East played pretty even in this quarter, and then just a couple big plays, and the hammer drops, and that's what happens when you have, great skill position players.
And Coach Sean, you brought up a really good point. He's small, and it deters a lot of college football people from offering them scholarships. And I played at University of Arizona back in '94, '95 when Coach Tomey was the head coach. And are you telling me that Teddy Bruschi was a big-time recruit at a high school? I mean, I had to block him every dang week, and so I still have nightmares about him. But he was a 6'1" defensive end. I mean, come on. I mean, that was a chance. Or Rob Waldrop. How about Rob Waldrop? He ended up winning the Defensive Player of the Year award, and he was a 6'1" guy too. I mean, there's something to be said about
full-time Teddy Bruschi
about recruiting football players.
Right.
And I've talked to some of the coaches that have come around. I know you have too, and they said, "I want a guy that lives and breathes and dies over football."
Yep.
You want football players. That's what you want. You want good kids that'll go to class and hit somebody right in the teeth, and that's how you build a program. I mean,
they're looking for those guys who are in early and leave late from the weight room, and that, like you said, they're taking care of business in the classroom, and want those kids see that's even better for them. But they got their boxes to check as far as height and weight, and when they're going around and they're making their runs around the county, which now with the spring coming around is in the heavy recruiting time, so you start seeing those visits coming. But, it's a shame they don't really look at, who's the real football player, even if they're a couple inches shorter than they should be.
Right. And it's, it comes down to the fact that you can't bring that guy to the head guy, because if he doesn't work out, why am I taking a kid who's 6'1" instead of a big mush pot that's 6'5" that maybe I can turn into something? But you see it. It's crazy. But life isn't fair, as you know.
All right, so now we've got
screen pass to Matt Morey there at Oak Park.
New quarterback. Let's have the quarterback
I'm trying to
from
figure out who the quarterback is.
It's Agora quarterback.
Okay, Frederick.
Yep.
Long, talented kid. So we do have some players from the easternmost area, an Agura kid. But we should mention that's the end of the first quarter here at the Ventura College Sportsplex. The West leads the East 14-0 on touchdown runs by Jesse Valenzuela and Xavier Harris.
No surprise there, right?
Yeah. Two guys who are probably 1-2 in the county in scoring.
I have a feeling we're going to be mentioning Malik Sherrard at some point. Today.
Well, he set up.
With that long catch.
He set up
Valenzuela, I
the
believe.
second score.
Was it Harris?
So Harris set up the first one with a 63-yard catch and run, and Malik Sherrod set up the second one with a 20-yard. Remember after the little skirmish and the ball came back, and that was a 20-yard catch and run on a slant get them get the West into the red zone, and ultimately that was converted by Harris after his face mask. Poor guy.
Yeah, after getting elbowed in the face is what you said.
So who took over for you at Fillmore?
They're still in the process.
They are.
That's still out. Yeah.
So yeah, they're in the process there of finding candidates. The principal told me nationwide search.
Nationwide search to come to Fillmore, California. I like it.
Matt Morey. Short gain to the right. We've got another flag down.
And that's
we should, before we move on from the Fillmore job, we should mention you have said publicly who you believe should be your successor.
Yes,
at
my
Fillmore.
my defensive coordinator Tony Tafoya did a great job for me the last 2 years. He's been a JV head coach. He's coached offense, defense. He's well-rounded. His football knowledge is great, and he's a Fillmore guy. And for the Fillmore community, that's a big deal. It checks a box definitely, and he's really was an assistant head coach last year for me and followed, he knows all the ins and outs. You got the fundraising, you got the Spirit Pack stuff, you got all the administrative stuff you got to take care of. So he's aware of all that, and I think he would be a great choice for Fillmore. Of course, they're going to do their due diligence and they're going to make their choice. But
is he on campus?
He's not on campus, and that's the biggest thing going against him right now. But he's a local guy. He's around. He's got the time with his job that he does. So I think it would be a good thing for Fillmore, but we'll see how it works out.
You guys are really well coached on defense, so it sounds like it's the easy choice to have. But
speaking of open jobs and coaching, I did see one John Mack on the field before the game.
Yep.
Spoke to him a little bit.
He was across the field from me last year coaching this West team.
Yep.
Okay.
We'll see where he ends up. I know he's looking for a spot.
He'll definitely end up somewhere. He's a good coach. He does a good job. But there's been all kinds of stuff going on around the county. I mean, the guy in Ventura, Tony Henney, supposedly left. I don't know. I mean,
St. Bonaventure.
St. Bonnie,
yeah, St. Bonnie. And St. Bonnie went with a kid that, coach or played
St.
there.
Bonnie guy.
Right?
Joey Gonetia.
Right. And he wasn't the best player in the world, but not the best players make the best coaches.
Yep.
It's almost like the guys that they know football better because they have to know football better.
Valenzuela on the
they're
run.
not as talented.
They got to get every little advantage
return
they
chance
can take.
For him.
Another
into
flag
East
out.
Territory.
I mean,
It does sound like they wanted to make a change there.
Yeah, that was an interesting situation. I don't know if everyone has all the information.
St. Bonaventure?
Yeah. And Coach Henney, I've known for a long time. He does a good job, but personalities sometimes clash.
So, the interesting thing with Coach Henney is that now this is 2 jobs in a row where he's kind of invested himself in a couple of years, building up the program, getting a good freshman, sophomore team. You're about to have this great group of juniors coming in. And, St. Bonaventure had a chance to be maybe the best team in the West County. And now you're kind of throwing that into question a little bit. I know, at Westlake, he was upset that he didn't get a chance to coach some of those great players that he had put together. And then it's kind of the same situation with St. Bonaventure, where I had just talked to Coach Henney like a week before the news came out, and he was excited about the future.
Yeah, and he was going to be the Coaches Association president. And
so obviously it wasn't his decision to leave.
It doesn't seem like
but what's interesting about that is exactly, you hit it right on the head. He had the players coming back here. His lower levels were loaded. They really, really, really were, and he was excited. I mean, I don't know. He was frustrated with that senior class a little bit, I think, but his guys were coming in. It's like in the college ranks.
Sherrard in the passing game again. This time,
and the West.
He's still going.
Oh,
is he going to? He's going to get in. He's going to score.
Is. Wow. Probably made about 3 or 4 kids miss on that play.
That's a 56-yard touchdown pass.
And they're running just verticals on that play, and the West quarterback found the
that was James McNamara in the game from Camarillo.
Great throw by him.
So McNamara to Sherrod, Camarillo to Pacifica, and now the West is up 20-0 with 10:03 left in the half.
And talk about Camarillo. How about Grady Liddell? He got offered by Army this morning.
Oh, look at you breaking news. I didn't see that on Twitter.
Yeah. That is awesome.
Yes.
He's a good football player.
He's an amazing football player, and I'll say, watching his highlight, somehow the ball always finds him on defense.
Talking about a guy who won a playoff game.
It's funny how that works out, right? The good players find the football, you know?
That's kind of the definition of a good player.
Right?
He's a good skill position player.
Watching those highlights he had, I'm like, this is the Ventura County version of Tyrann Mathieu.
I mean, you're talking about somebody
there you go.
Who every week seemed to make a game-defining play, whether it was a pick six or an offensive play or a return, or I mean, when Jesse Valenzuela gets hurt in the playoffs and they go to Downey, and Downey's about to kick the extra point to force overtime, he blocks a PAT with seconds left to win Camarillo a playoff game and send him into the semis. So that was the kind of stuff that we saw at Grady Liddell this year, and he got UCLA offered him a priority walk-on spot, which is we've seen guys from the county be priority walk-on spots and then earn scholarships at a place like UCLA.
Really happy
but
for
Army
Grady
in the
Liddell.
Mix. That's interesting. That's good.
He's a guy, like Joe said, he might not check all the boxes with the measurables, but man, he just has a nose for the football. He plays that strong safety. He's in the box. He can cover deep. He'll if he decides to go to Army, he'll do well. If he decides to take that preferred walk-on at UCLA, I'm sure he'll find a way to get on the field.
Oh, didn't you guys say that Malik was going to get in the end zone soon?
It was only a matter of time, right?
I mean, it was 50 to 1 that he was going to get in. I mean, 50 to 1 that he wasn't going to get in. Yeah.
Now the question
you had
becomes,
to lay 5,000 to win 100.
Right, exactly. Now the question becomes, how long is he going to stay in?
Exactly. I mean, how do you take the competitiveness out of a kid?
Yeah.
That's the thing. I mean, that's why he's here, And the other thing is, I mean, let's talk about Mike Moon. Mike Moon is not only a good football coach, he is a great person. He is in and deals with underprivileged kids all the time and constantly where he's at. And he helps them not only on the football field, but off the football field. And that's why I have so much respect for him. I mean, if I was a millionaire, I'd give him money.
Which, as a high school football coach, that's really the name of the game.
It is.
I'll say this. That karma, as Frederick gets wrapped up by the West defensive line, sack for looks like a 4-yard loss. Karmically, Coach Moon got paid back about as big a jackpot as you possibly can. Not only, all the history with Pacifica and everything they achieved this year, the key play in the state championship game is his kid catching the game-clinching score for him as a senior, Isaiah Moon, with a 50-yard some-odd catch and run to beat a team, McClymonds, that hadn't lost in the playoffs in 4 years, had been to 4 straight.
The Oakland team,
I mean,
they had all kinds of athletes on.
I mean,
and Isaiah Moon's a kid who, if he was on any other team in the county, you probably would have heard Bryce Nunez trips there. It looked like he was going to be open for a big gain, but
his teammate giving him the business a little bit.
Yeah, Bryce had a great season for us at Fillmore. Scored 17 touchdowns. Ran for over 800 yards but he averaged about 8 yards a carry.
Yeah. Did he?
Yeah, so he was our workhorse. He probably didn't get as many carries as he should have because guess what? He was starting at linebacker also.
Yep.
So you got to rest him sometime.
Well, and he got hurt in that Nordhoff game. Part of the problem.
He was one of the ones who got hurt.
There, yeah.
Yeah, he got hurt.
Hurt his hand bad.
So that was tough for us. But
Frederick again trying to get this East offense going. Stuck in a 3rd and 14 from the 25.
He's going to go 2-man here, I bet. Yep.
Down the
Got him.
seam.
Oh.
That is that Pollo?
That's 18. Yep, Pollo Gutierrez.
That's Pollo Gutierrez with a.
Just a little heads up. That's cover 2.
That was a December.
That's a heads
that was
up.
a December.
Cover 2. By the way, so nobody gets killed here.
That was a December hit in January.
Somebody just died right in front of me.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Throw it to the outside, please.
Yeah.
Pretty please.
Yeah. As a receiver, that's coming. Pollo, I think, actually might have been a little nice on that one. Just kind of jogged through. I think Pollo wins the name competition today.
He that Pacifica secondary had coached by Marcus Alford had, I think, 14 interceptions in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Something ridiculous like that. Pollo had a pick 6 against Miracosta in there, in their opener, playoff opener. Yeah, he did kind of just break it, just kind of.
He could have done a lot more damage. He kind of ran through the shoulder and didn't really finish the hit.
Yeah. And talk about
sportsmanlike conduct flag on the East.
Coaches' openings. The Agura guys have not hired anybody, but I heard it's coming Tuesday. A little birdie told me that the leader is a guy named Nate Turner, an old TAF guy.
Look at you breaking stories.
I mean, so Nate Turner was
I'm going to have to write this down.
I think he played at UNLV and was a guy that had a chance in the NFL a little bit. I know he coached at TAF.
So it's still open. Agura's still open. Waineme's still open. Fillmore's still open.
Yep.
We've had Royal filled, St. Bonaventure filled. Who am I missing?
Calabasas got filled.
Calabasas filled by Kerry Harris, former USC defensive back at Moorpark College.
Thousand Oaks.
Evan
Yabu. Evan Yabu's a heck of a coach. He's going to be good.
Yep.
He's going to do.
We got a prediction.
He's going to save that program, in my opinion.
Wow.
I mean, that program was ready to go to
That's a Newbury Park. That's a Newbury Park legend. Giving props to a decision made at Thousand Oaks.
I don't know, but maybe
reaching across the aisle.
Maybe a legend in his own mind.
I don't know. I was
a legend.
I was at an establishment in Newbury Park last night, and there was a jersey. I could tweet it out. There's a jersey on the wall. I think if you're at a local establishment and your jersey is on the wall,
I think jersey on the wall.
Legend could be named.
I may or may not have given them a big donation to put my jersey up there. I don't know, but it's up there, right?
Eating dinner week after week after week there is not a big charitable donation. You get something in return.
True. No, but I think he'll do a good job. I mean, Calabasas is just an interesting whole ordeal because I mean it's I guess you would call it a revolving door with not only boosters but with players. It's
Well, you remember Calabasas back in the day, and then when Clausen came in and did what he did to turn that program around. Like you said, you never really know what you're going to get each year.
Bruce Powell Mathis, the Buena High star, 10-yard run.
I think their coach is doing a good job.
Buena?
He took over a program that was a disaster.
I mean, let's be honest. Buena has really seen rough days since Rick Scott left or passed.
But he's done a good job. He runs that wing tee, and those kids are starting to buy into
James
what he's
McNamara
doing.
with the
quarterback keeper. I don't think he did that much at Camarillo.
There's some new film for his huddle.
And McNamara, that's interesting.
He did score a couple touchdowns like that, but that was about it.
Right.
Coach Willard, they didn't, I should say offensive coordinator for Camarillo was Coach Lieben, so there wasn't a lot of that from Coach Lieben.
And Coach Leiben's not there anymore. He went off to greener pastures, I think. But go back to McNamara. I know CLU, Puget Sound, Pacific Lutheran are all after him. Good Division III programs. And I was down there talking to a couple kids, and I asked them what they were doing. They said, I don't know. I said, well, if you want to play football in college, there's a place for you.
Yes.
There is. There's Division II, there's Division III, there's NAIA, right?
I mean,
exactly.
We're here at a community college, one of the best community college programs in the country at the moment.
Moose does a great job here.
Yeah, McNamara had a great year. What jumps out to me is his completion percentage
McNamara
over at Camarillo.
Looking for
Zach
the
Rodriguez.
Ventura kid, Zach Rodriguez.
And it seemed like he's been there forever, too. I
think you're right. I think he's 3 years.
Yeah. But he did a heck of a job.
Yeah.
My notes are atrocious today. This is going to be a brutal box score.
It's hard, though. I mean...
Luckily, I have video. I can go back and check the tape. Thanks to Anthony Placentia.
That last play is good defense there by Will Little. That's one of the kids from Hillcrest Christian.
There it is.
There you go.
Will Little. This is his first 11-man football game ever. Had never played an 11-man game.
Kudos to his coach, Christian Dearborn, right, for getting him out here. And
the new coach at your alma mater.
Exactly. We're looking forward to seeing what Dearborn brings over to Royal as who's that making a dive-in attempt.
Well, we know.
That's Victor Duran, Santa Paula.
Oh, close.
Well, you know what he's going to bring. He's going to bring enthusiasm. He's going to bring organization.
I didn't recognize the white there.
He's a good football coach. I played for his dad.
Okay.
At JV at Newbury Park High School, and
who's dad?
Christian's dad.
Okay, excuse me.
Rob Dearborn. And actually, he married a Newbury Park Panther, one of the better runners that ever come out of Newbury Park. Anyways,
hey, these days,
I know
there's a lot of good Newbury Park runners.
Holy smokes, can they fly?
They're only the state national champions.
Yeah.
State champions times 2.
Which is crazy.
Yep. Never see that. 4th and 5 here. McNamara drops back under pressure. Oh, we got a flag down.
They were double covering the receiver that he was looking at initially. See if he can make something happen.
Here's a play not for his highlight film.
And that is going.
Oh.
He might have thrown another one.
And the flags keep coming in.
The first one's going to be a hold. The second one is going to be a late hit.
Yeah.
So that'll give us another 4th and 5. Give us another 4th and 5. Let's have fun.
No, it's both on the same team.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah. Julio Bay just absolutely whacked somebody. They might ask him to leave.
Yeah. Julio Ray's he's playing like
he's like, what?
He's playing like he's got something to prove out here. Yep.
Actually, it's old football. 1990 would be the year that you'd get away with that. Nowadays, you can't get away with that.
Well, you get away with it with the referees, maybe not the other players, right?
Right.
You wouldn't know anything about that.
None.
Okay.
Some vigilante justice back in those days.
Yeah. Well,
all right, so let's reset. 7:26 left first half. The 47th Ventura County High School Football All-Star Game, East-West. We're here at Ventura College, the Sportsplex, home of the Pirates. 21-0 West. Touchdowns by 3 of the most productive players in the county these last couple of years. Jesse Valenzuela. What is happening? Is that Pollo?
Yeah. Pollo's having fun.
Pollo's doing handstands in his uniform.
You ever done one of those before?
Not me.
Not me. I skipped gymnastics. That went right. That went right by me when it was time to sign up for a class.
You're talking about you in gymnastics. I'm thinking about you in a leotard now.
Okay, let's not get weird, right?
It's a family.
Somebody's going to get sued, okay? In today's society, we're holding.
All right, so they're talking about all these different. We still have this Six Flags going on.
Referees,
all right, they basically said everything's declined.
I think they're trying to find out whose flag is who at this point.
They went dead ball unsportsmanlike, so they're going to get 15 back on it. So it's going to be like a 4th down sack, and the East is going to take over.
Was the decline on an incomplete pass, right? Oh, no, did he get sacked?
What happened was a holding call, and then it was a dead ball unsportsmanlike.
Which is push it back even further.
Okay. All right, so the East is going to take over on the East 47.
And who's at quarterback right now?
Oh,
Coach?
Yeah, tell us about this quarterback.
Or
tight end quarterback.
Fillmore record-setting quarterback Jared Shefferly. He set the Fillmore records for passing touchdowns, yards, quarterback
all the coaching.
rating. Yeah,
it was all the scheme.
I wish I could take all the credit, but Jared had a great year. He didn't play quarterback last year. He was our H-back. And, he really grew as the year went on. I was proud of him. And he became a leader. Quarterbacks, you hate to say it that they have to be leaders, but everyone's looking at them. So they're kind of under that responsibility to be a leader for your team. I know he's excited to play today.
Everyone's looking at him right now. The East needs to get going. And there's
It's fun to coach good kids.
Run.
It just is.
Exactly.
I mean, it makes it worth all the time, and the lack of pay is, and like you said earlier, and helping kids that need help.
Yes.
Most of the time when you're coaching high school football, that player needs football more than football needs that player. And when you have that situation and that person grows and can come out of it, because football relates to life so closely. And when you can help somebody come out of there and they come back and just say, hey, coach, thank you, then it's worth all that time.
All right, that was Gabe Landless again, 1 yard gain.
Making a man miss in the backfield. Back to Jared Shefferly. Great kid. I think his goal right now is to go to UCLA. Like his sister went to UCLA, or is at UCLA right now. But really smart, student of the game. We had our one-on-one film sessions that he just learned so much and took Fillmore to the playoffs and won a playoff game with them.
Hey, that was one of the big stats of the postseason was that Fillmore wins its first playoff game in 10 years. That's significant.
Yeah, so I was really proud of him. And really, him being a microcosm of that senior class we had at Fillmore. The strong senior class character.
So that's why you left, is because all the seniors graduated. I know you. See, we're just getting to know each other, Sean.
Oh,
I mean, you're an Arizona basketball coach.
I do that on the side. Yep.
My wife said, "Who's up in the box with you, Joe?" I said, "Well, my boy Joe Curley and Sean Miller." She's like, "Sean Miller? I know Sean Miller."
Yep.
It's like, no, not my Arizona guy, right?
It was nice for a while. It was very anonymous. If you try and Google me, you're not going to see me anywhere. But But now I got a couple articles thanks to Joe, I guess.
Hopefully they're positive.
Yeah, exactly.
It's these days. So that was interesting. We had an incomplete pass on 3rd and short, and you had Westlake lineman Mike Maddox begging for a flag, doing the, throwing the flag in the air repeatedly.
The flag, yeah. Well,
Jared for calls out
he
there.
was looking for Nick Torres, a Royal receiver, talented kid, played some receiver and linebacker for Royal. And I was over at Royal when he was a freshman coaching before I took the Fillmore job, so that's kind of cool to see. My quarterback there to a receiver who I coached a while back.
That's cool.
All right, so timeout on the field. 5:59 left, first half. 21-0 West. East trying to.
You know what we haven't seen that I'm surprised about is no trick plays yet by the offenses.
I was just thinking that.
Right?
I mean, what's the number one thing you see after a timeout, right?
Yep.
I mean, I saw Casey right there, Casey Webb, coach from Oak Park, who's the head coach right here for the East, and it looked like he was drawing something up in the sand.
That's the fun thing about these all-star games, right? You're like, well, we got to get this 5 yards.
Well, he does have his quarterback at punter, right?
What fun is it punting? So we'll see.
They are not punting.
Especially in your plus territory.
Yeah, you're on the other side of the 50.
There's so many weapons on the other side, right?
They're manned up. It looks like man with a single free safety there.
And they are going to bring somebody
Orioles
off
walking
the
down
edge.
now.
They're going to bring him off the edge
is
right
that
here.
Sherrod playing defense?
Yes,
Malik
he
Sherrod's
is.
out there playing defense.
Here he comes. A fourth guy's coming off the edge. Picked him up.
Nice throw, Jared. Great
job.
throw. Who'd he connect with there? Oh, that's the Westlake receiver.
That's the Westlake kid,
Carson
yeah.
Cool.
No,
Isaiah Moon.
Oh,
Tyler Enderle.
Tyler Enderle,
okay.
Well, it's interesting. As a quarterback, you want to throw to the guy that they're replacing when they blitz that guy off the edge, right? So they blitz him off the edge. They didn't disguise it very well because they brought that free safety right over top.
Like you said, right? Only 2 weeks of practice. You got to put in that base
Well,
stuff.
So the West roster's stacked, but the one place they don't have a ton of guys is at corner. They're playing Fonts
Valenzuela
outside. Fonts started at corner. Valenzuela's playing corner, and you had Malik Sherrod. So those guys are going both ways.
Oh, trying to set up the screen.
And they were not having that.
West was all over that.
That's Kean Betancourt, one of the great linebackers in this county from St. Bonaventure.
Yes, put on his film, and he's all over the field
He is
as well.
good. And I coached the New Ray Park Steelers youth team, who, by the way, is 43-1 the last 4 years, just to say.
Oh, wow.
But
Because
anyways,
of the quarterback.
I coached his brother,
Okay.
and they call him Cheeseburger, but he did a heck of a job for us.
They call his brother Cheeseburger?
Yes.
What do they call him? Hamburger?
I don't know what they call him. They call him Cheeseburger. So
Have to
I
make a
just
play
called
like
him
that?
Cheese. What up, Cheese? And he played defensive end for me and did a heck of a job. So
He looks like he's
That's
playing.
Betancourt's brother?
it is.
Yep, here comes the blitz.
Cheese Betancourt.
Second and 12. He's going to keep it. Duck under the hit.
Set up
Couple
about a
yard
3rd
gain.
and 9.
You get something positive out of a negative.
3-yard scramble. Going to bring up 3rd and 9 maybe.
That was always good for Jared during our season. Let him run the ball a little bit, get hit, get in the game, and
10.
settle him down a little bit. But got that good completion. Let's see if they can.
It'd be nice to see them convert and get back in this thing, right? To make this thing a competitive. I mean, these guys are having fun, but they're all competitors, or they wouldn't be here.
No.
I mean, that's why some of the kids didn't show up, right? Maybe they're not competitors.
So you got Malik Sherrod playing
I'll leave
slot
that to you.
corner. Jesse Valenzuela playing outside corner. Fred Vasquez
I can't help
playing
myself.
slot corner. And Aaron Fonts playing. You've got basically, it's like a flag football game.
Oh, yeah, they want to win. Here comes Malik Sherrod on
a blitz.
Got him.
Oh, Jerry with the touchdown pass. I love it. That's why I'm here.
That's what he
why
learned.
I'm here.
That's what he learned at Fillmore, folks.
And we got the Fillmore faithful all right down here in front
I
of us.
think that was Enderle again.
I think it
he
was.
He found his receiver.
And it was exactly the same situation as he found him in the last one, right?
For the pick up the first down.
Right, and they brought the guy off the edge. They replaced him with the free safety, and they hit the guy. Right?
When you're running man coverage across the board, right? You got to be able to cover
And
everybody.
The East
It's
is
hard.
on the board.
hard.
If
With-
you can't
especially
get pressure on the quarterback, it's hard to play that defense.
In an all-star game, right?
Yep.
When you're assuming you got some of the best athletes in the county, they said ours are better than yours, and East made them pay.
I like it. A little 7-on-7 right there.
Little 7-on-7. You know how that's taken off. I'm sure Jared now will get to settle down a little bit, see if he gets another series in.
Is that good?
But
You missed it.
Let's go to the 7-on-7 stuff. I think it's interesting because a lot of these we have a lot of clubs out there
Yes.
in it to make money.
And it's become a little bit of a headache for coaches across the county.
Yep.
Because, these 7-on-7 teams have kind of filled the void of kids who think they're not getting the looks from colleges that they should.
Right.
And that's that's a really tough area because, like you said, some kids just don't check boxes.
Right.
From the height and weight perspective. And coaches are nowadays with huddle highlights available, there's all these services online for recruiting. And so these 7-on-7, I'm not sure what you think about it, but sometimes I think they're a little overkill. But, the kids who want to go out, compete, have fun, right, and see who are the other guys across the county, good for you, man. Go do that. That sounds like fun.
There's definitely some good in it, right? I mean, there's some timing things. I mean, but for me, as a football coach, and I'm going to see two-man, I mean, do you think I'm throwing the football?
Right.
Do you think there's going to be a single time that I'm going to throw the football in two-man unless it's 3rd and 35?
Well, you'll see in the 7-on-7 defenses are
Right.
very different than they run during the season, at which point you think, well, what good are you getting out of this if you're running something you won't run during the year?
But you do get more exposure, but I don't know. I think it's good for the quarterbacks to be able to see that and know where their windows are and different type of coverages. But most of the time you're seeing two-man, so it's kind of redundant in my opinion.
I will say for Fillmore, we signed up for a couple more 7-on-7s this offseason because Jared, who just threw that touchdown pass, hadn't played quarterback at the varsity level before. So that, like you said, it helped them with the timing and the finding the windows and the zones and that sort of thing. And
got a nice crowd here.
Oh, yeah, they showed out. It's a beautiful day in Ventura.
Gorgeous day in Ventura. Nice big crowd at the Ventura College Sports Specs. 3:43 left, first half. The East, after breaking their duck, getting their first points of the game. Now trailing the West 21-6 after that.
Break the duck?
Yeah, sorry, that's it.
What's that mean?
Break the ice.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, it's pretty similar.
I don't know. Hey, every time you're doing one of these, maybe you learn something new. So I just learned about breaking the duck.
I think I'm going to use that from now on.
It's like a piggy bank.
Right.
Well, for me, when I was doing
somebody watching too much soccer,
when I was doing radio with Hawk, and I taught him about
Hawk
pickle juice.
Hawk would definitely say break the duck.
He
would know what I was talking about.
But he wasn't sure about pickle juice and the fact that when people are cramping, he goes, "Yeah, I love pickle juice. I drink it all the time."
But wait,
and I'm
but not to keep him from just for fun.
Yeah, so it was an ongoing joke the whole entire season about pickle juice, and when anybody ever cramped up, it was it's funny stuff. I mean, it's all about having a good time up here, right? Yep. So, but yeah, drink your pickle juice. It's supposed to help cramping.
I'm sure they have it down on the sideline today. I know Fillmore always had some on the sideline.
Really?
Oh yeah, we got a great trainer over there, and she makes sure stocked full of pickle juice.
Let's see if the West responds on this drive.
Well, they got 3:43 to work with. That's Rodriguez
on the fly sweep. Makes a couple miss.
He had a great year. Zach Rodriguez, fly sweep around the left, picked up about 15. Actually, it's about a 10-year game. They're ruling stepping out of bounds. Down to 3:34 left. This is still McNamara? Yeah, still McNamara quarterback.
McNamara's in.
This is going to be a sack. Is that Luca? Kind of struggling to see the East jerseys a lot.
Was that Luca? Luca had a great year at Oak Park this year.
Led the county in sacks.
Committed to UC Davis. Very
Only fitting that Luca Sarek gets a sack in the All-Star game.
Yep. Very athletic edge rusher.
And he committed to
UC Davis.
Right, and he had a Montana State offer as well.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, Sarek had 30-some-odd TFLs.
Yeah, he was just a beast on defense for Oak Park and started at left tackle for him also.
Did he really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, started at left tackle and really a leader for them. Like you talked about that 10-0 season that Casey Webb did an awesome job at. Luca was a cornerstone.
Hey, look out. East got a shot to get him off the field and have a shot at a
2-minute drive.
At a 2-minute conversion. And we got another sack. No, McNamara gets out of it. He finds a receiver. It's Zach Rodriguez. Wow, that is a huge play.
Wrap him up.
Rodriguez has had A couple good plays already.
The weak Eli Manning retired. It wasn't a helmet catch, but he certainly wriggled out of some pressure there.
I think he escaped 2 different.
Down to 2:45 left.
It was impressive, strong.
East D-line.
It's good.
Yeah, he would be great for Cal Lutheran, and like you said, any of those D3 teams are looking at him. He's a smart football player.
Valenzuela.
Oh, that's a
inside
he
run.
Just hits that hard. You gotta love that. I mean, and it's hard, in my opinion, when you have that gun situation instead of a pistol or from.
They don't get the same look at it.
Right, but he hit that thing really hard. Put his left foot in the ground, hit that thing right down.
Well, you see that when he turns up inside.
Yep.
That the kids who they're fearless, right? To turn up inside like that. Those are the ones that make.
Valenzuela again.
Oh,
he's getting to the outside. So Valenzuela goes for 13. He goes for another.
I mean, how many runs did he have like that for
15.
Camarillo? It looks like he's lost.
Again.
Right, it looks like he's lost in the line. Camarillo had a great offensive line this past year, and then he just pops out. I had a chance to watch them versus Grace Brother.
They've been good a lot lately. I think this
first
might be
goal for the West. That's Kyrie Wilson.
Yep.
Touchdown, West. What a big play on third down by McNamara to keep the drive alive. East almost got the ball back with a chance to make it a one-score game. Instead, it's 27-6 West.
Yep, 2 quick Valenzuela runs, and then they find Kyrie Wilson. Like we said, I think he's going to Cal Poly.
Cal Poly, and he had a lot of interest. The Ivy League came in at the end, and he said, I'm staying with Cal Poly, staying in California.
I think it's a cool place to play.
Oh,
I mean, you're close enough, but far enough, and it's a neat stadium.
The new head coach now, who
I
think
it's a great school, and there's not too many.
Washington guy.
Kyrie Wilson, by the way, a great student.
Well, if Ivy League's looking at you,
yeah,
right?
No, he's a legit student athlete, and also a guy. If you see what Pacifica did in the playoffs, you could argue he was as impactful for them as anybody.
Right.
I mean, he had multiple interception games. He had multiple touchdown games. He blocked the punt in the CIF championship game that turned that game around when they were down 2 scores in the third quarter.
And they tied the game up. They had some guys hurt, which is it really told the story of how good that football team was.
When you got their second most productive offensive player, Michael Johnson, basically doesn't play the playoffs.
Yeah, the depth was incredible. And you can even just see with Kyrie Wilson the type of throw. They're just throwing him a jump ball there, right? So they know what kind of athlete he is, that he's going to go get the ball. And that's a level of trust with the quarterback that you're either going to catch it or you're going to make sure the corner doesn't get it.
Well, I was coaching at New Ray Park when this group was sophomores, and we beat them. But it wasn't like we ran all over them. And I told everybody on that staff, I said, this group is going to whack people. And they did. And they last year, I think they underachieved a little bit. But sometimes that has to happen for a team, right? To grow, to turn into the first public high school in the county to win a state championship. I mean, that's history right there.
Yeah.
Do whatever you want to do. Don't win another game, Coach Moon, and you're going to be in history and probably in the Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah.
For winning that,
Don't see how he couldn't be, right? I mean, just an incredible season.
West here kicking off. 1:47 left to go. First half. We got a little squibber, and that'll do it for that. East will come back out with 1:47 to work with, and
all that from a missed tackle. They would have had him off the field.
Yeah. 2 missed tackles.
2 missed tackles.
And I love what you said, Coach. Those character building years where maybe last year they didn't have quite the right or just sense of urgency, and then this year they really put it all together. It reminds me of coming into Fillmore. They were 0-10 the year before.
Yep.
And they were, dying to have some success, and that really mattered to them, and it made a big difference coming in that next year that they really wanted to get those wins on the board.
It's in Fillmore, one of the things I'm sure you sold is this town wants a winner.
Yes.
Right? This town is going to back you to the T. You just got to start winning.
It's a great football community.
It's neat, yes.
It's very fun as Jared tries to escape the pocket there. Oh.
Is that Sherrod with a pick?
Yeah.
It is.
The flags are going to get thrown.
Oh, what am I saying?
You got a PI. This is going to come back.
Yeah, Sherrod's making an early case for MVP of the All-Star game.
I don't know why I made such a big deal about him playing D-back. He only set the Pacifica record for career interceptions at safety. screwing me up as he was playing slot corner. But
and in the All-Star game, right, you don't expect he's got a Division I offer. How much is he actually going to play?
He will come off the field.
He will.
I mean, what told me a lot about Malik Sherrod was when they're beating the heck out of Birmingham in the state semifinal and the state regional bowl game, and they're up by several touchdowns. Second half, it's raining. They're starting to think of who you're sitting. He's on kickoff coverage, blowing up the other team's blockers. And he's not even making a tackle.
Get him off the field.
I'm sure they tried to. Moon could have had a hook, and he wouldn't have kept him off the field.
Well, he's playing in this game. I mean, how many guys do you see that are going to actual Division I, right?
I mean, so who's missing here? Obviously, Caleb McCullough is already at Arizona State.
Yeah.
Ben
Gilbranson already at Oregon State.
Yep.
The Westlake quarterback didn't want to play in this for some reason, but he was on the bench.
I heard he went to one practice. Yeah. I heard he came out and then didn't come back.
Right, he came out
going to Holy Cross.
Right.
That's interesting.
Well, then, like you said, you get those Calabasas. Say Johnny Wilson comes out or something like that.
Can you? I bet you Johnny Wilson's already on a. He's got to be already at Arizona State, right?
Yeah,
he's already driving a Mercedes, guys. Come on. Or he might already have one.
There was.
I mean, you never know.
Hang on, they did have one Pacific guy. So LaShawn Bell?
Yes.
So he was invited but did not. Oh. He was offered and accepted, but he never ended up coming out, which happens in this game a lot. For both sides, I mean, the way this works, but.
Yeah, Grace Brotherton's got a couple kids going places. Josh Henderson had a hell of a year.
I mean, Josh Henderson had an incredible career, both sides of the ball. He was our Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, basically, Sherrod and Henderson were basically our co-players of the year. Mm-hmm. They both played both ways. I mean, either one could have been offensive or defensive.
And that offensive line, my gosh. I mean, that is just
one of the great offensive lines we've ever seen.
Agreed. Really. Ever in the county.
Is that Leyva?
And there was a couple kids that I thought might have played in this game. A couple of the Poly kids that don't have offers right now that probably could have offers and another chance to get some more film. But don't forget, they went on a long run as well.
Right. Yeah, they played a lot of football. Nobody's played more football the last couple of years than those Grace kids.
Exactly. And he's done a heck of a job there.
Henderson.
He really has. And he's a really good guy. He's a really good football coach.
I mean,
you
got 10
kids like him.
You got 10 of the best football players in the county in that program, and so we
haven't even mentioned Nate Bennett at Grace.
I mean, that's the one I love to watch Nate Bennett play.
Yep.
Some of the plays he made, the Hail Mary this year, but Nate Bennett was one of the best two-way players in the county last X amount of years.
Agreed.
And I can't remember offhand where, but he did get some good offers toward the end. He might have been
State.
Okay.
Portland State, I think.
Yeah.
That's a good call, Coach.
I mean, he was a legit. I mean, all you got to say that no one's ever going to forget that Hail Mary.
No.
I was covering a different game. I get that Lauren tweets out that, it was La Habra scores, takes the lead with 26 seconds. I feel like, oh wow, Grace is going to lose.
Right.
And I think I wrote my story, checked back in. I was like, whoa, Grace won.
Right.
I didn't even it had been an hour later, because I was in Communicado. As Chevrolet.
Oh,
they might have been trying to set up a hook and ladder there. Yeah.
Awesome.
And that was the Royal receiver there, Nick. His last name's escaping me right now.
And that was fourth down.
Nick Torres there.
Good call. They were trying to set up that hook and ladder. So it's 21 seconds left in the half.
You're talking about trick plays. I mean, is there a better trick play than a hook and ladder?
Well, last year I scored. In this game, we scored on a double reverse pass.
That's not bad.
I like that.
Pretty good.
I like that. Hook and ladder's good.
Jason Heller threw.
I know it. Did he really? Wow. So what? How about this? The best trick play to pull off is a fumble Ruski.
Oaks Christian used to run it all the time, right, with Bill Riddell.
Yeah, Riddell liked the fumble Ruski for sure.
There's
the hook and ladder.
You want to see it? Yeah. There you go.
I think Casey just reminded Mike Moon what was on the play sheet.
Hook and ladder up 28 to 6.
It's an all-star game.
And now they want a timeout. There he is. Look who is in the box. Talk about a legend.
Wait.
I mean,
arguably the greatest football player. Well, it's maybe you could argue
greatest football.
One of the greatest football players in Ventura County history.
I agree, and the greatest football play probably in Ventura County
speaking
history.
of plays, yeah.
I mean, seriously, don't forget that Hawthorne team. And we're talking about Keith Smith here, but that Hawthorne team.
Great to see you.
That
Welcome.
Hawthorne team had all 4 of those DBs were Division I guys. One of them was Kelvin Hunter, who actually played at Arizona that Keith ran away from, which is, I'd like to see you race Kelvin Hunter right now. Yeah, come on, Keith, join us.
All right, we're going to bring him on. Certainly a Newbury Park Panther with a greater resume than Joe Schmeigel.
I mean, who really
Shots
knows
fired.
about me? I mean, people know about quarterbacks, not about overachieving offensive linemen. I mean, let's be honest here. Nobody's going to be lying about anything.
CIF champion Keith Smith, one of the great players in Newbury Park history, one of the great quarterback coaches in Ventura County. Welcome.
How you guys doing?
We're having a lot. We're having
you guys
maybe
having
too
fun
much.
up here,
Maybe
huh?
too
We
much.
always have fun. What else? I mean, why are we up here?
Yeah.
I mean,
what a great view up here.
Football in
Wow.
January.
Curly has a bunch of money to pay, and he just keeps it in his pocket. So we better
right.
have fun.
Loan me some Curly G.
I got a staff now. Look at this. I got a staff. I got an offensive coordinator and a quarterback coach and an offensive line
got an
coach.
offensive staff
I
up
can
here.
be a head coach, and I don't even have to do anything.
You know, the funny thing is when I was
I got a technical director over here.
That's
I was
right.
coaching tackles and tight ends at Arizona, and Keith was the quarterback there. And he actually was splitting time with O.J. Jenkins, who's another great quarterback out of Arizona. And at halftime of every game, Coach Tomey would get with the staff.
Wow.
Oh,
It would have been a sack.
Instead, an underhanded pass to Valenzuela from McNamara.
Those two guys know each other well.
Yeah.
McNamara scoops it over to Valenzuela, gets a nice little.
Camarillo
Gets back.
connection.
That's going to be the end of the half, actually. All right, so that'll end the half. And
Are we done with my story? Is that how we
we'll
do
keep
things
going.
around here?
No, wait.
I mean, my
Let
God.
me tell the people what's happening on the football field.
The people want to hear from
28
me.
to 6. Aaron Fonts.
Fonts.
Oh, we
thank
got
you.
it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fonts.
Thank you, Miss Fonts.
So,
How you doing?
hey, we all knew it was Fonts. We just got one guy who doesn't know what he's doing up here.
My gosh, it's the O-line
I'm
guy.
not going to name any names, but it was me.
But yeah, it's halftime here at Ventura College, 28-6. I know, Anthony, do we need to take a break or can we just keep going?
You guys can keep going. I'm going to take a break on the screen.
Okay, so they'll still hear us? All right, so we'll just keep going.
right.
They don't need to look at us.
Yeah, they definitely
Especially
don't
not
need to
you.
All right, so get back to your story.
Okay, so
and let's integrate Keith.
Right. So
into
I'm
the
trying
broadcast.
to. I'm
Okay.
trying, but I get rudely
My
interrupted
bad.
constantly.
By the halftime.
So really what happened was I was coaching at Arizona. Keith, who I played football and basketball with his older brother at Newbury Park. And so Keith, it was always a little kid running around shooting threes as an 8th grader when I was a senior. So anyways, I have a chance in college to be the tackles and tight ends coach on a loaded 1998 team that actually finished number 5 in the country. And anyways, at halftime, Coach told me to go in and bring the offensive staff in and say, okay, who do we think should start the second half, right? And OJ, I'm sorry if you're listening because obviously I don't think I chose you very many times. And so after the second half of the season, and we're in close games, and I would go in there, and I mean, I wasn't the one just to be quiet, of course. And I would say, Keith Smith's going to be, and he would say, I've heard enough, Joe. Okay, I know who you want to start the second half of the game. So Keith, what are you doing now?
well, right now I'm doing a lot of quarterback lessons and recruiting for the high school athletes in the area and then in parts of Southern California. I do starting up Sundays here in the next month or so. My camp is called K-12 Elite. So last year we had a great turnout, probably had about 20 to 25 quarterbacks who were coming through and working out every Sunday and getting a lot of good work in. It's a 2-hour workout and a lot of drills, a lot of fundamentals, a lot of stuff that, just to get the kids out and compete. I'd have certain receivers that would come out and work for them and run good routes for them. And we were fortunate enough to have about 4 or 5 kids that went Division I out of that program this past year from local kids. And then now I'm just looking for the next crop of young QBs coming through my system.
That's great. And how can they get a hold of you to get some training from you?
Right. You can find me on Instagram at K12Elite or on Twitter at K12Elite. That's the best way to get a hold of me. All my contact info's on there. And if you guys, whoever wants to come get a lesson in and get some work in, I know what I'm talking about.
You do. And so what do you think about this game so far, K1?
It's a shellacking. The West has, and just from looking, the West has a loaded squad with some kids that have some D1 schollies out there making plays. I mean, I think that the D1 kids kind of show a little more talent. They kind of stick out more.
Yeah.
And you know.
Right. So you kind of led me into the next question. Where did you play your All-Star game with, and who was the guy that was on the opposite team of you?
Well, hold on now. I didn't play in this particular All-Star game.
I know. That's why I'm asking you the question. What All-Star game did you play in?
Yeah, I did not play in an All-Star game. In high school, I did not play in an All-Star game.
Oh, that was college.
In college, I played in the Shrine Game, and then I played in the Hula Bowl.
Right.
And I had a chance to play against some.
Shrine Game was when you went up against.
Oh, Shrine Game, I had the other quarterback was Tom Brady. And,
Wow.
So it was kind of.
So who won the game?
Who's that? Who was
they
that?
won by a touchdown. I threw 3 touchdowns. Tom threw 4. So that's my little fun fact. But back then, we didn't know Tom Brady was going to be the Tom Brady.
So that year, I saw Tom Brady play at the Big House against Drew Brees. I drove through Canada to get to Ann Arbor, and I had a buddy who was in grad school at Michigan, and we saw Drew Brees against Tom Brady, and the guy everybody wanted to talk about was Drew Henson.
Right.
Nobody hasn't heard from that guy in a decade.
Where is that guy?
Two-sport guy there with Henson, but
Purdue Boilermakers.
I'll tell you what.
Right?
What a great football game you got to see there, man. Shoot.
Well, so who do you remember your receivers in that game? Who else played in that game?
Man, let's see.
That was the Shrine game. Where was the Shrine game?
R.J. Sallard from USC was in it. Had a couple really good running backs that were in it that are pretty good. I can't think of the names right now. But it was more of a defensive, guys that did well were more defensive guys. Some DBs and some linebackers. But Hula Bowl, I got a chance to play with Ron Dane. I mean, he was the
Heisman Trophy winner.
Heisman Trophy winner, and
had just won the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, I have some good stories I could tell off air about that.
About Dane County?
Nah, just having fun in Hawaii. Just hanging out.
That's pretty good to do too.
Enjoying the Hula Bowl.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to get in there, and quick story, we're in the Hula Bowl, and all the quarterbacks and all the NFL scouts are coming at our practice, and we go into the locker room, and they basically strip you down, and you're sitting there in your shorts, and they come in and look at you. It's like a meat market. And there I am next to 4 or 5, 6'5" quarterbacks, and here I am 5'10". Well, one's Brady, one's Mark Bolger from the Rams.
Yeah, he had a good career.
So all these guys are in there, and I'm like, who would you draft? I'm 5'10", 200 at the time. But, it's like, maybe in this day and age of quarterbacks.
Did you say 5'10"?
200?
5'9" 3/4.
Did you say 5'9" 3/4?
5'9" 3/4.
9 3/4 reference.
Hey, I'm 195 right now. I'm feeling good, man.
When I tell my cousin I'm 5'9" 3/4.
It's a good thing is that the camera's facing that direction. 95 plus.
A couple out of 42.
The main thing is you can still zip the damn ball around. I'll tell you that.
Right.
I mean,
I do. I still can throw it pretty well.
I won't play catch with them.
And
There's no reason.
It's not fun.
No.
So, Keith, you helped out at Newberry Park, didn't you? Tell us a little bit about that quarterback they had over there, Ben.
Yeah. So
a heck of a year.
We've been fortunate enough in Newberry Park to have
QB High School.
QB High School. For the last 6 or 7 kids have gone on and played Division I ball, and our last kid, Ben Gilbranson, who he enrolled early at Oregon State.
Right.
I think he has a really good chance to be a big-time guy in the Pac-12. I mean, I don't know if he'll play early as a freshman, but if he redshirts and gets stronger and learns the playbook, I mean, he can put he's going to find a way, I think, to beat out Jebbia for sure.
He's a cannon.
He's got a.
And the thing about him is that you can see, the rotation of the football and the amount of rotation that you get on a football makes it go farther and harder, and he just spins the damn thing. I know late, the USC guys came late on him, and were very interested because the ball, he just zips the damn ball.
Ben Gulbranson is a prototypical. He's got every. You think of, he doesn't look like he's a runner. Some of the plays he made, some of the biggest plays he made in high school were with his legs.
Very underrated athlete, and his mobility is very sneaky. And that's why I think he eventually will be. He scrambles enough to get out of trouble and get first downs and move the chains, but he can still take it 30, 40 yards too now.
He's got everything.
Keep in mind, I mean, he's kind of got that NFL body. I mean,
he's talking about the guys
big old
next
paws
to you.
on him.
Yeah,
big old feet.
Think of what he's going to look like. In a situation at a post All-Star game, how he's going to look in a scout a draft scenario.
I mean, he's throwing it 70.
He's throwing
70 yards, easy.
For me, the most impressive thing about that young man is the way that he works. He works. Like I said, I coach a youth team, and I would go have practice after Newbury Park played, and the guy would take half the field because he was still throwing for 45 minutes.
Yes.
I'm like, enough's enough, Gulbranson. I need to get my guys on the field.
Every word coming out of Newbury Park, just positive. Scott Veras works over there. He was the one who actually gave me my first coaching job as his receivers coach, so I owe a lot to him. And everything he said about Ben, just the character. Like you said, the character of the kid is through the roof. And you talked about him putting the spin on the ball. The thing that I saw that really impressed me was the touch he has. He can drop it over a corner's head, and he throws a catchable ball. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what it looks like on the film.
No, you're spot on. You're spot on. And I going back to what Joe was saying, he's done it the right way in this day and age of transferring around. He's a homegrown kid, and he just kind of stayed and did his own thing and played with his buddies, and he's still got multiple scholarship offers and did his own thing, so
and elevated his teammates. Right. Tyson Lundgren leads the county in receiving.
Yep. And that's one of his best buddies.
And Ben still has his head intact. It didn't get knocked off, even though sometimes I thought it might.
Yeah.
They were facing monsters.
They were facing monsters.
The schedule was not nice to him.
And toughness.
CIF had that all screwed up with. But anyways,
yeah, I mean, we
don't
talk
have
forever
to go
about
into the
re-leaguing
and
how Newbury got thrown in the Romani kind of before they had earned it and all that.
Yeah.
But
what do you expect?
That's a whole nother,
now, while we're on that subject, how about the fact that they're going to change the playoff deal all around? Yeah. It's interesting.
I'll say this: it's going on the current resume rather than the previous year's resume, adding that data, even though it's going to be a big change for teams to potentially not know what division they're in all year and then all of a sudden get thrown in. I think it's better than what they've done the previous years. But the thing about it is, I think every time you try to fix it, it just goes back to the fact that it was better when it was Division 4 and Division 11, when it was big and small and regional. To me, the section's too big.
It is.
Divide the section up regionally. Ventura County should be playing, Santa Clarita and north of us, Santa Barbara. Maybe some of, find another little alcove. And then once you win your section, that will improve. The regional play will be even more significant, because then you're playing Orange County and then Empire. The fact that we have kids have to get on a bus on a Friday in October or early November and go all the way to South Orange County for a playoff game
that's
is
ridiculous.
insane.
It's crazy, and you have to go too. That's the other thing.
Well, that's why I'm complaining, right? Because I'm the one who lives it every year.
And break up publics and privates. I mean, it's simple as can be with the rules.
You would think that's the no-brainer.
It's just easy.
Yeah, publics and privates have no business
together,
same.
especially in the
that's why
area.
they're folding themselves into pretzels, trying to figure out a solution because they're running from the real solution.
Right.
Which I'm sure there's people at CIF who want to continue to have public and private together, whereas in other states they divide them, and it works.
It works.
Yeah.
It works, and plus you get what they still want. You get the monster game, right? Where CIF is about money, and they can get that money off the monster game still by doing that, because the big, well-known private is playing the big, well-known private,
right?
And instead of during the season,
opinion
you're
shared by
50-4.
people on the broadcast does not
Yeah.
We need a
Disclaimer.
These are personal opinions by the coaches involved.
Yes. But Fillmore was a good example of that with the new system that they came out. They were Division 13. We were Division 13,
Right.
small school, right? Sure. And if we had done with the system, we would be Division 10. And that, it's interesting the way, and have good years and bad years, strong senior classes and weaker senior classes. And, at this point, it's kind of all built towards the teams that are reloading every year,
Right.
and like you talked about.
But what I like about it is they're trying to get it right.
Right.
Instead of sitting on their hands.
They are
They're
working
trying
at
to
it.
get
That's
it
a good
right.
point,
And at some point, hopefully this will work. Hopefully we'll get into a situation where it's a little bit more competitive. But, a perfect example, when you have the division set up the way they are, you have teams that haven't been very good that are a public school that all of a sudden gets that great class. And now you're playing, Mary Health of the Blind, the first 3 weeks of the playoffs.
It happens.
Yeah.
One little bit of news here we've had at halftime is Julio Ray has taken to Twitter and announced that he's been ejected. So we can confirm that Julio Ray,
he made some physical plays.
the passionate leader
one on a
of
Newberry
that
kid. He was
Pacifica line.
He was getting after him.
I think that's part of the problem.
Yeah.
But he has been ejected. He did have two 15-yard penalties.
The second one gets you ejected.
Yeah, and so tough, but certainly we love Julio for being Julio, and he was a key part of that championship team. And
Oh, yeah.
he was
He's
a
a
leader.
good football player.
He is a good football player.
It's a 1 extra second. That's what it is.
So
it's kind of the epitome of our
This isn't his
society,
first
so.
time playing on this field.
Yep.
I don't think it's going to be his last time playing on this field. He has publicly committed to VC.
Oh, good.
I don't, who knows at this, with community college, nothing's in stone until people arrive on campus. But so we're going to take a short break right before we start the second half. This is the Ventura County All-Star Game on VCS Press.
Hey, let's get a pic. Put that on Twitter.
Having a little bit of a technical issue here at the Sportsplex, but we are 2 plays into the second half. Oak Park running back Matt Morey just ripped off a 74-yard touchdown run to pull the East within 28-12. His high school teammate, Oak Park quarterback Johnny Smith, will kick the extra point, and that one is good.
How do you miss the first one?
28-13. I don't know. He
rush.
boomed a punt and celebrated, and then he had that shank.
Yeah.
And then
Interesting,
he
they didn't
did
go for 2 there.
Right. And
he's got a
the
lot
thing
of
is
talent.
interesting is, you guys play them?
Oak Park? We
Yeah.
scrimmaged Oak Park.
Okay, you scrimmaged them. So he played quarterback. He did a good job.
He was
Did a great
He was
quarterback.
sneaky athletic,
Yeah.
and he had some. He knew he had athletes. Alex Jones and Cooper Ehlers are at Oak Park, and he let those athletes go up and get the ball. He did a pretty good job this year. Obviously, 10-0.
He wanted no part of being quarterback ever again.
It sounded like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
He's
it was
done.
all about kicking. Yeah.
Yeah.
interesting.
Surprising with how well he did, but good for him. He's focused on kicking, and there he goes, gets the extra point.
He did really good at the Chris Saylor camp, I heard. So
Really? Do you know if he's getting offers or looks? I
don't-
haven't heard.
It looks like he's waiting, but we had a guy named Cole Tracy.
Yeah.
His story.
Oh, yeah.
Little guy named Cole Tracy, a little something or other.
Yeah.
He kicked at a little school down in the bayou.
Yeah, he messed around under Coach O.
That's right.
He went to Assumption
Hey.
College.
From
Right? And-
from Worcester.
It was
What's
an
the
unbelievable
math?
story. It really is, and he's a great kid.
Well, then
He's in the XFL or the.
the Seattle Dragons.
Is he,
I actually have a call. I may talk to him this week
That's cool.
from his from training camp. He's going to be kicking in a professional game in a month.
That's
Good for
cool.
him.
Newberry Park has that great alumni network, man. They've got guys all over the place. Valenzuela trying to make something
Valenzuela
happen.
another return. He gets it out to the 30.
I hear some shoulder pads cracking.
11:31.
Yeah, they're
remaining
playing down there.
third
Maybe
quarter.
the East was a little tired of getting whacked. right?
Well, the East have, that first series, they had those sacks, and
I know.
They are kind of bringing it physically. Yeah, Gianni.
It's hard to beat speed. It really is. I
Yeah,
mean, say
for
what
sure.
you want to say.
All right, let's see if it's.
The X's and O's is the Johnnies and Joes. Is that
I
how they
am.
say it?
Yep.
Yeah, it's the Jimmys and the Joes. Yeah, it's
Jimmy's and the Joes.
Yeah, you learn that
I
pretty
don't
quick
see a
as a
quarterback.
offensive
Oh, there's
coach.
RJ.
Yeah, it's the truth.
RJ Maria of Pacifica
He's going to come
back
in.
at quarterback.
You got Xavier
For
Harris in the
The
backfield.
West. That is a handoff to Harris to the right. Xavier Harris almost gets a 10-yard gain. He's out of bounds maybe right before the sticks.
We do have a flag down. It could be, I mean, that looks
Holding?
holding.
Yeah.
Yeah. Blocking the back, holding.
You got these athletes you can see what these coaches are thinking, get that outside zone going and let them pick a lane and go.
It's interesting how, as an offensive line coach, I love the outside zone, but you really have to have the offensive lineman give ground to chase the outside shoulder. Because I always tell them, if you're chasing the near side shoulder, what is the referee going to see? They're going to see your hands on the near shoulder no matter what you do. So we always call it bucket and run and get to the near side shoulder, because if you have outside contain as the end, what are you going to do? You're going to run to the sideline.
Right.
So threaten the outside shoulder. I mean, San Francisco 49ers are doing it right now.
You
and
took
they're
the words out of my mouth.
Unbelievable.
That they combine that inside zone and outside zone game like nobody else. You can see they ran for over
Got a pitch
200.
left to Sherrod.
I'm trying to find somebody that will
Malik Sherrod past the 30.
let me get in the camp with those guys. Watch them. When you watch them in the Super Bowl, really watch
5-yard
their
gain.
footwork. It's interesting because some of them are bucket and running, but these are professional athletes that are making a lot of money.
Yeah.
And they just get there.
Well, something you might not realize, that San Francisco O-line, it's one of the lightest O-lines in the NFL because they're committed to that outside running game. They got, like you said, they got to get to that shoulder and they got to move.
Yeah. It's like the old Denver Broncos with
Oh,
the
yeah.
lines,
That is
They
a
weren't that
pitch
big.
to Harris. He's bottled up for
That's
no
interesting.
gain.
It's an interesting point on having that because I'm watching them.
They got
and
Colton Miller. Right? I mean, some of
Right.
those, the San Francisco outside, the tackles are like converted tight ends and stuff.
Right.
Well, their footwork is
Athletic.
so different. Don't throw that.
Oh,
My
I don't know about
gosh.
that. These refs are getting a
They're
little
big hitting the
flag
secondary.
happy. I get they want to control the game, right? They don't want
That's
to get out of
garbage.
hand.
Would have
but
been an
whatever.
incomplete to get the West off the field.
Yeah.
Instead, it's going to be
That's going to be an automatic first down.
automatic first down to keep the drive alive. And when you think about it, you got a two touchdown game here.
That was huge.
I mean, you got a couple plays here and there where it's a close game.
And the ball was in the receiver's hands. It wasn't late.
They're saying that he led with the head.
Oh, boy.
Is that what that looked like to you?
No, it didn't.
Sherrod and
But there's a reason why there's binoculars sitting next to me, just in case it's on the far side of the
I
field.
can't.
That looked that way to you. It looked like there was a
The
flash
instant
of something
replay isn't
going
coming
on,
up here.
right?
The instant replay, I can't quite
There
see
was a
it.
flash of something on the other side of the field. That's what I saw.
It looked like that was the Oak Park corner, Cooper
Aylers, yeah.
Aylas.
I'm not sure if I'm saying that.
Yeah,
right.
you probably saying it better than me.
I don't
I
know,
almost
but
butchered it. I
Mom might
appreciated
come
it.
up and tell you.
Yeah.
Well, hey, welcome to my world. We get feedback in,
Also-
on Twitter. It's part of the best part of our job is, you're putting stuff out there and it comes right back, and you're going to get it right.
And not that anybody was announcing my name that much, but Smigel,
Yeah, you could butcher that name.
I mean, it was butchered. It never.
Another
was
flag.
Wow.
So
Wow.
another flag on Cooper,
Very interesting.
and that was on
flag.
Fonts down
They're going
the.
to call defensive holding. It looks like. Huh.
Yeah, you got that one right.
But we're
Holding.
still audio. All right, so we're still working on the picture. We're having kind of an
we
issue.
don't have any picture.
We don't have a
Okay.
picture, but so that this is pretend we're on the air
Okay.
radio wise.
There we go. Okay, let's do radio
We
right
can
now.
still broadcast. All right, so
Well, that was
did
a little deep throw there to Aaron Fonts, and
it was about a 20-yard corner, right?
yep, and the corner They looked like they're calling defensive holding on the corner. Corner obviously disagreed.
Another flag moves the West into East territory. They're on the 37 of the East.
And they certainly don't need any help.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Now they're moving the ball back 5. So they either miscounted or
It's an all-star game for the refs as well.
It's an all-star game, especially for the broadcasters. And it'll really be an all-star game.
Who voted on the crew?
These are all-star officials, folks.
Inside handoff.
That is Malik
Gain of about
Sherrod from
4.
Pacifica again, the Ventura County Football Coaches Association most valuable player and the Ventura County Star Offensive Player of the Year. All he did was set Pacifica High career records for rushing, touchdowns, interceptions, other stuff I can't remember, and led them to a state championship.
And they're playing him in the slot a lot. Did he do?
Now here goes Xavier Harris loose, trucks a safety, and that's about a 20-yard run to move the West into the red zone again.
Did Malik Sherrod play that much slot receiver for Pacifica this year? I wonder if Fresno State's looking at him for that.
He definitely should have that role. Probably be a third down back, slot receiver sort of thing.
That was your inside zone on last play.
Yep. And he's just making people miss left and right now.
This is Harris again.
Oh. I'm not sure if that guy's going to get up. Somebody
Harris
just got whacked.
Harris went for 25 and then 5. It's going to be 2nd and 10 from the 12.
I think Harris made 2 guys miss before he got back to the line of
somebody
scrimmage.
And then whacked somebody.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody took the punishment. He's running with a purpose today. Malik Sherrod, who's that? Xavier Harris is a guy he's saying.
And those two grew up playing with the North Oxnard Warriors. Sherrod dances to the right. He's going to try to get in. He Supermans into the end zone. I believe he draws a flag as he's skipping in the end zone dancing.
Mustard's a little bit off the hot dog, I'd say.
I mean, there's a lot of... He might have to join Julio after that one.
Yeah, the flags are raining down.
Oh, we should say... Do we say on the broadcast? We said on the broadcast. Julio Ray
is no longer with us.
I mean, he's alive.
He's with us. He
just
survived.
Not in uniform anymore.
He survived. He's a fan.
With us. Jeez.
He's a fan. That's what I meant.
Well,
Keith Smith's no longer with us. He was up here as well. I mean, everything's so literal. God, I got to go back to radio. Hawk compliments me and doesn't rag me like you do.
Another flag
Another one's coming.
Are they throwing the flag on him diving into the end zone? I mean, this is an all-star game, right? Let's
have some fun. I mean, it was pretty cool. I hope our photographer down there got a shot of that.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for him to do a backflip. He's doing these kind of crossover dance stuff, and I want to see a backflip or something. I mean,
are we going back to your creative?
No, but did you see the backflip? I don't know who it was. I think it was a local quarterback that threw a pick on it was one of the Instagram things, and they were playing a Florida team. Might have been one of the quarterbacks from Westlake, and he threw a pick, and somebody ran it back, and while he was running it back, one of the DBs from Florida did like a front backhand, like a gymnast.
Well, I know when Moorpark College takes the field this past year, their best athlete was this kid from Florida who the team would run through, like you see so many football teams take the field, run through cheerleaders or whatever, and everyone's running, and he's doing backflips. It's amazing.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
With pads on.
That team from Florida was on that 7-on-7 that I saw. It went viral. But those guys were unbelievable.
Oh, it's no touchdown.
Wow. So they took the touchdown off the board. So there was a
legit flag on the field. It wasn't just for. It must have been a hold downfield, maybe.
They threw so many flags.
So a second and 12 from the 17.
Another flag.
No, they can't throw that.
I just don't.
He can't throw that flag when the ball's thrown
out of bounds.
10 yards out of
well,
bounds.
Never mind the fact that Fonts gave it up.
Yeah.
So that was a Maria pass to the end zone. In the air, Fonts kind of reaching for it and then pulled his arms back under the threat of contact from Cooper Allis.
Holding.
Need to get.
And
you think it's the NFL?
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, come
defensive holding.
Listen,
let's get word down to these referees.
Yeah, you can touch people until the ball's in the air.
All right, 2nd and 1 from the 7.
There's your inside
Maria
zone
gives to Harris. He gets to the 5 and is wrapped up.
Might have picked up a first down there.
It's going to be, that's a first down and be a first and goal from the 5.
Soren Brown from Newbury Park coming in and whacking him. Number 2. The first time we've called his name tonight.
Marie out of the shotgun gives to Harris. And he's
muscles,
in.
Yeah.
5-yard touchdown run for Xavier Harris.
Well, it's
His
become
second touchdown of the game.
two-man competition here between Harris and Sherrod.
That's right.
And who's going to lead this West team to victory? Or
What does Sherrod have? 1 or 2?
I think
he
Sherrod
had
has
one set one
Oh,
up.
the interception got called
He
back.
had the
so he doesn't
interception
have that.
call back. So he's had an interception callback and a touchdown callback.
Yes.
But when you put right now, Harris is probably
I think you're
Harris
right.
has 2 touchdowns, and he set up the third
With the long
Valenzuela
catch.
touchdown with the 43 or 63-yard catch and run. Scooter Carranza back out there to boot his 5th extra point of the day, and he makes it 35-13 West. That is a 9-play, 69-yard drive helped by 3 flags.
Yeah, and like Joe said earlier, they don't need the help.
They don't need the help. I don't know. Remember when did you do the Oxnard Westlake game the
That
same
was
time
us.
I did? That was you guys.
That was us.
And us together. So
No, you and I did it together for the radio station.
we did.
Because we didn't have a game that week.
Was that the week
I covered the game and helped
that
you.
there was like 37 penalties and Westlake jumped off sides on every extra point?
Yeah.
I'm not lying to you. So every
It was
extra
like
point
a
that Oxnard
community
had,
college.
they jumped off sides
and then they would go
went for
for it.
2 and got the 2 every single time.
And that was that was insane.
Was it the same guy jumping off sides? That's the question.
You know, does it really matter?
As a coach, no.
I wouldn't have had any shoes
Yeah,
because they would
exactly.
have. You know exactly why. Westlake turned around and actually had a decent season, even though I think they got suspended for.
They nearly beat Grace.
Right.
The first
the
time. The second time in the playoffs wasn't as close.
Yeah.
They lost a game because of suspension, or they played an
Ineligible.
ineligible player.
I
What
think-
game was it? Was like that was a non-league game.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I think that was their first game, was it?
I don't know, one of those games.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're in January form here.
Right, exactly.
It's like we're talking about like 1975. We can't remember what happened 2 months ago.
Hey, I'm the senior member of this broadcast group, so I have an excuse. You guys are all puppies.
I don't know. I'm in the middle, I think.
You're a 42-year-old?
Yeah, 43.
43. All right, so I still got
We're-
half a century on you, half a decade on you.
And then we got the young pup next to us just starting,
Yep.
going to get his graduate degree.
Talk about girlfriends. I'm like,
Girlfriends.
what's that?
We can't talk about girlfriends.
No comment there.
Or girlfriend. I'm sorry.
Thank you. I
I'm
appreciate that.
getting my man in trouble on the air.
Yeah.
He's like, I'd never
right,
want
the
to
East
never
back
call
with
a game with you
Go
again.
home and do some
The East
explaining.
is back at it. First and 10 from the 23.
Oh, good catch.
That was Enderle again, was it?
Yes.
5. He's wearing 5, but I think it's a Westlake jersey, so I think it's Enderle. I hope it's Enderle because we credit him with the touchdown.
Yeah, he's number 10 in the program.
But it's a nice 42.
I thought Carson Cool was out here, but
Carson Cool's got I think Yale would be mad. Yale lacrosse would be mad if Carson Cool was playing in high school football.
He's a good football player.
the
I'll tell you
East-
that
Yeah.
right now.
He's an incredible lacrosse player.
the East
That's what
side
I
moving the
When
ball
the national
again.
champs want you.
Nice catch. Nice catch there by Newbury Park's Braden Hutton.
Kind of
Sturgill is getting some momentum here.
Yeah, they're moving down the field.
How do you go to an All-Star game and put a different jersey on? Maybe he forgot his jersey
I mean,
at
maybe
home? You're killing me.
10 got lost. We'll have to ask.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe. Or
Either
maybe
way,
he's
it's a
just
good
not.
catch on a ball that I don't know. Blake, zip that ball on that inside
Yeah, that out.
fade.
First and 10 from the West 31. 2 completions for Sturgill, moving him, and the East are threatening already.
Sturgill steps up in the pocket.
Now he's going to run for it. Slides. I think that's the third straight first down for the East.
He's big.
He's a big boy.
He's listed, I think, at 215. He's very solid. I got a chance to go out to one of the East practices. He's, I think, 6'2", 215. He's a solid player.
Actually, a 13-yard scramble for Sturgill. 3 straight chunk plays.
He's been around forever.
He has. Yeah. He started as a sophomore. Starter. He's been there forever.
Yeah. He had a nice run playing in the CIF championship game.
Yep.
I think he missed Drake London this year.
He's going to get to tell his kids he got to throw to Drake London for.
He was playing basketball for USC after a great freshman year of playing football.
I mean, they're already. I was down there for the USC-UCLA game, and the SC guys are already like, Drake London is our guy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you saw him when he was playing at Moore Park. He was just on a different level than everybody else he was playing against.
He really was. There was no chance. I mean, but what was he? He was a Division I football player. So all these people with grand ideas that they're a Division I football player, I mean, you want to go back and look at the film on that guy.
Dude, he's a Division I football player. He was a future NFL football player.
Yes. I think he's about 6'6".
There's levels to this.
It's about 6'6", 200,
athletic as all heck, and can catch the ball one-handed with both hands.
My point being is that people have grand ideas about being Division I football players.
Right.
More than, and that's why these 7-on-7 teams are making money.
That was Enderle again with an out.
Or number 10, or number
That's
5 again.
Another first down.
It looks like Enderle.
It's now 1st and goal. Well, Rick Ruffinelli, the PA announcer, Ventura College and St. Bonaventure, when he says it's Tyler Enderle, I believe him.
That's what he said.
Word for it.
As somebody who goes around to different games,
I agree.
There's PA announcers you can trust, and there's PA announcers you can't trust. And
He's one of the best in the business.
I can trust Mr. Ruffinelli. First and goal from
the
the
nice
8.
guy, too.
Heck of a guy. All right, Sturgill dropping back under pressure, throws it down.
I'm starting to think we're being too nice up here. We keep on saying everybody's such a great guy.
It's an all-star game.
Can we?
We're back.
We're back. Merry Christmas.
All right, let me tweet that out.
East tried to throw a little screen pass there. And
Joe, take over play-by-play while I tweet out.
Who can we rag?
Who can we rag on?
Ourselves.
Before we rag on, let me give Blake Sturgill a shout-out for throwing that ball away with a screen pass was nowhere to be found.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lived to fight another down.
5-yard line going in, 2nd down and 5 on the left hash.
Go ahead, Joe. Take
Snap
over.
for the quarterback. Scrambles to the right.
Oh, he's going to run this in.
5, 4, 3, touchdown.
Yes, nice run by Blake Sturgill.
There was a big difference right there. So that was Malik trying to tackle him. And I don't know. I'm going Division I. I just let him walk in. Personally.
Yeah, that's right. I think you make a business decision there.
And 215 is a conservative.
You know what, though?
Weight for him right now.
Malik Sherrod would never think not to tackle him.
I know. It just looked like David and Goliath. I'm just thinking that
he's going to have to learn some business decisions, but it's not there yet.
It was August, not January after Thanksgiving and Christmas.
He almost kept him out of the end zone.
Malik just knows he's on the field.
Right.
Doesn't matter what day it is. He's on a field. You should see when the guy practices.
Right.
He's out there practicing, covering his buddies, talking back and forth. It's fun. That's why. And as Malik would say, after they won every championship game they played in this year, that's why we're the best.
And he liked Fresno. It wasn't so much the coaching staff. It was what Fresno was all about. A good friend of mine's a head coach at San Jose, Brent Brennan, and he's doing a heck of a job there. He picked up a program that was a train wreck, and he's a Dick Tomey disciple, and he's starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel where he had a better year. I think he missed a bowl game by 1 year, and San Jose State has got a lot to offer based upon where they're at and the connection they have with potential jobs in that area. But I was a GA at Fresno for Pat Hill back in the day, and at Fresno you're right in the middle of everything. You're right next to Yosemite. You're near fishing. You're near hunting. You're
and
near
they have
skiing.
Such a fan base.
They do.
That fan base stretches everywhere. For a smaller for a mid-major D1 football program, that is a big-time fan base.
David Carr was our quarterback at that year when I was up there.
There you go. Some gasoline.
Nice tackle on the kickoff by Ryan Gonzalez from Fillmore. Zach Rodriguez from Ventura on the return takes it to about the 24-yard line.
So Sturgill's touchdown run brings the East within 35-20.
No 2-point conversion again. I don't know if there's a rule. It might be
I
a
don't
rule
think
that
so.
you no, you can't.
I'm trying to think back to last year when I coached in the game. I don't think there's anything stopping you
Sounds
from
like
going
they're
from
going to
two.
cross that bridge when they come to it.
Yeah, but still got a lot of game left. 3 minutes left in the third quarter.
I mean, and if the Hankies stay in the pocket and they can get a stop here and get back in the game. They have not been stopped in the second half. The East hasn't. So they've done a good job of making maybe some halftime adjustments.
So after that long possession for RJ Maria, we've got James McNamara of Camarillo back in at quarterback. However,
who's the running back right there?
I think that's Victor
Buena.
Duran took it inside.
I think that's
Is
Buena.
it the number 1 or number 2?
I think it was number 2.
Oh, then that was
Bruce Mathis.
Bruce Mathis then.
He's a good
call.
football player.
Yes. Let's see Victor Duran get a look here.
So Duran is out there. Here's another guy, Carter Alexander Camarillo.
Yeah. He scored 22 points for the Camarillo basketball team last night.
Yeah.
Did he really?
Yeah, there you go. Look at you with the. I've got the stat. You just saw that. That's great.
You gotta love it.
Yeah.
And basketball's a fun sport, so it's so competitive, and you're right. The fans are right on top of you. I'm a basketball guy
High school
too.
basketball, yeah.
Talk about specializing. Let the kids play. Let them just play all different sports because those are the memories that you're going to remember.
Yep.
3rd and 7, kind of a vital play here if the East are going to get back in it. What am I talking about?
Oh, good throw. Oh, great defensive play. I think that's the safety from Simi Valley. Am I seeing that correctly?
Yeah, I think you're right.
You're right.
Kind of in and out of the hands of.
That's
Savon
Jake
Paris
Thoreau,
Farmer.
I think, made a great play on that pass that was in the hands.
Who was it to? Was it Duran or was
No,
that
that was
Farmer?
Paris Farmer of Pacifica.
See, that tells you another thing. You don't know too much about that kid, and he's in the All-Star game, right? You don't hear his name. You didn't have all the
Simi
headlines.
kid?
The Farmer kid.
No, the Pacifica kid, the embarrassment of riches.
So the reason what happened with him was
Pacifica.
he made one of the biggest plays in the CIF championship game and hurt his shoulder.
Yeah.
Then he sat out the semifinal and then he played hurt. He scored a touchdown in the state championship game.
Right.
Wow.
So they were. They were
Dudes
stacked.
everywhere.
Oh, and then we've got a.
Well,
So
East
here's
gets
your
the
punt.
ball back here.
And then we're talking about guys playing sports. I was out at practice the other day, and I wanted to talk to Savon, and they're like, "Savon's working tonight. Savon's busy."
Yeah.
And so you got kids who, they're
Right.
busy student athletes. Got to work. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, don't forget about
in some
homework.
people's life. Yeah,
I know
homework.
Ryan Gonzalez is on the basketball team. The basketball coach isn't too happy that he's out here playing a football game. But he's like, hey, it's my senior year. I got to go do it.
Right.
But
Only got one shot.
To your point, Joe, everyone's doing everything.
And that's good. I mean, specializing, especially in, football you really can't specialize too much in, but
Wow. Okay.
I'm not sure that was a decision I would make. But
That's
Bit off a little bit more than he can chew there.
why not just jump off the bridge?
Was that Elijah Leva?
I think that was Elijah Leva, the running back from Simi Valley. Had a great year.
I mean, he's wearing 3.
Yep, that's him because we heard from his fan club. I think he rushed for over 1,700 yards.
Yeah, the Leva
and
family's right here. Yeah, if I had that many fans here for me, I guess I'd probably
take a chance.
Yeah.
Make a play there.
Especially if you knew you were done in the second half, right? Give me the ball.
All right,
Give me the rock.
East now have the ball back.
Let's see
with
if
a
the
shot.
quarterback can,
1:46 to play, third quarter. Shot to make it a one-score game.
See Nate Frederick make a drive now. Sturgill's made a drive. Oh, here comes the trick play. Oh, Gianni go
maybe
down.
a face mask they missed on this side.
Yeah. Well, they
That,
pull out the trick play
reverse
here.
pass did not work.
Yep.
That wasn't leading with the head right there.
Well, it wasn't for the West, so no flags get thrown.
Well, we're not lacking enthusiasm by either one of these teams. They're definitely coming after each other and hitting, and there's some violent hits going on out here. It's firing me up a little bit.
Yeah, but we haven't seen Johnny Smith as a quarterback.
No, we haven't.
So maybe they kind of tipped it off a little bit, the fact that he was out there taking a reverse.
Got about 2nd and 16 here. Frederick over the middle.
Frederick.
Oh,
Jeez, he did it again.
that's Tyson Lundring. trying to make that catch over the middle.
I guess Pollo put his marker down.
Yep.
He made that one hit. Now nobody wants to catch a ball over the middle.
Jeez.
All-star game. Make some business decisions.
3rd and 16. 47 seconds left. 3rd quarter. West leading the East.
See if they
35-20.
set up a screen here, or we got 2
They
safeties.
have trips left for Nathan Frederick. The Agur quarterback tucks it, runs. He's tackled
About a yard short, 2 yards
by
short.
Fred. He picked up a good 10, but
I think it's time to go.
It might be time to go.
Fred Vasquez stopped him about 3 yards short of the yard to gain.
The thing is, they haven't really been running the football, and now it's 4th and 2.
I mean, they're on the 38.
I love the outside guy going deep, the inside guy running a little in and out, especially against this type of defense, right? It looks like cover 2 man.
Yeah, get some of your man coverage beaters, some double moves. The fans are really wanting to run the ball here on 4th and 2.
That'll do it for the 3rd quarter at the 47th Annual Ventura County High School All-Star Football Game presented by the Ventura Downtown Lions and their sight and hearing charities.
And let's talk about this. I mean, the East is doing a much better job than I thought they were going to do, especially against all the speed of the West.
They've hung in the game.
They really have, and they're hitting each other, and they're protecting the quarterbacks pretty darn well, and this is a good competitive football game.
Yeah.
And it's not like the West hasn't shown up. Like
Right. I know.
The West is playing what we expected, and the East is kind of over there.
I think we got to give credit to the East offensive line and defensive line.
Agreed.
I mean, they've got Connell Ferguson, obviously I know from Fillmore, played both ways for us, but then you got Malachi I from Royal playing left tackle for him. He's done a great job.
He's a good football player.
He's looking to hopefully, he's got to go on his mission, I know. So I think he's looking to hopefully get a look from BYU. But you got a lot of Westlake offensive linemen here who
You
are.
have Kareem, I'm not going to pronounce his last name from Newbury Park, even though I'm from Newbury Park, but he plays offensive line too. He's doing a good job.
Jamal Ladine.
Yeah.
I'll take a chance at that last
There
name.
you go.
Jamal
Well,
Ladine.
he was a 3-year starter. He got hurt this year a little bit, so it's nice to see him back out there.
That's pretty cool. You injured, you miss a lot of your senior year, and you get to come out here and play in the All-Star game. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. Last year, similar thing happened with the Newbury Park receiver that we coached. His last name is escaping me, but his name was Christian, I believe, and he did great for us in the All-Star game. Broke his hand during the season.
Oh, yes.
They try and run some slants with an arrow route underneath them, and Frederick just misses the slant.
And it was open. They had him.
They had him.
Definitely had him.
So that's going to leave a mark. You turn the ball over and downs inside your 40. West take it over at the 38.
You talking about Cisneros Mills?
Yes. Christian
Yes.
Cisneros Mills. He broke his hand during the year. Thank you, Joe. During the year last year, came over and I run a similar offense that Scott Veris does over at Newbury Park, so it was an easy transition for him. But he had a great game last year. Caught a couple of corner routes.
Really good athlete.
Really good athlete. Quick.
I coached his brother, who's a really good athlete, who has since given up football and is playing basketball. But a good athlete, definitely, and good athletes out of that family.
We've got 3 Westlake offensive linemen sitting down. How much fun do you think they have in practice trying to go against Victory Vaca every day?
Probably not much.
Maria back out there at quarterback for the West, gives to Harris.
And Vic, he's big. Like, big.
Vaca?
Big.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of NFL bodies,
Well,
we're just talking about Drake London.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're gambling, or predicting,
Who's got a shot to make it?
Drake London and Victory Vaga would be at the top of the odds there.
We're talking about
The
two gap guys.
There's Aaron Fonts. You can see why he's going to Montana.
Aaron Fonts inside the 5. Nice little catch and run.
40-yard quick screen out
That's
there.
all
the
coaching.
flat.
Don't you love having guys that make you look good?
Oh, yeah. Especially, you got the quarterbacks or the receivers like that. You call quick little play and they turn it into something big like that. Makes you
First
look
and-
real
Where they
smart.
can't be right. If they're going to cover you, right? If they're going to press you, you're going to go over the top of them. If they're going to play off you, you're going to give them a little hitch. It's,
First and goal from the 1. It's a fade
To
to Kyrie Wilson.
And they've done that a
Touchdown.
lot. It looks like they've done that a lot.
And that's a replay.
and that's second for
Kyrie Wilson's second touchdown. This is somebody who basically caught a touchdown every playoff game they played in. Had a tremendous second half of the year.
And so RJ's thrown for 2 touchdowns. Is that right? Or
I think that's right.
Yeah, I
Everything
think
else is a
so.
run.
Yeah, I think so. Cal Poly's going to be very happy with Kyrie Wilson, I think.
I agree. He's a good football player. You can see the separation that he
He
had.
can play receiver. Oh, and they're going 4 wide. Cal Poly's picking
we were
up a
talking
little
about
bit.
the Eastern Washington
the
coach
Eastern
coming
Washington
over.
guy. Yep. And he loves. I mean, so you remember him? So the
That's
kid,
what Cooper Kupp came out of that system, right?
right? And so did who's the guy that went to Oregon? I forget his name. Anyways,
The high school player who went to Oregon?
No, he went to Eastern Washington and transferred to Oregon when Chip Kelly was there.
The
And-
quarterback.
Yeah.
Vernon Adams.
Vernon Adams.
It's a
Absolutely.
City College of San
Nice,
Francisco guy.
nice.
Look at you guys, the teamwork.
Pulled that one out. My brother's a big Oregon
And so
fan.
he went. It's Baldwin, right? So Coach Baldwin, and Coach Baldwin went to Cal. He was kind of. This was going to be a do or die season for him, because his offense had struggled up there, and he wasn't coaching quarterback. So he decided he was going to make the switch, and because it was a do or die season, he
Right.
went to quarterbacks, and they had to win and score some points for him to keep his job. And then the Cal Poly job came up, and he jumped at it. And so he runs that, athletic type quarterback, zone read kind of stuff.
Yep.
And so he'll fit perfectly in there at Cal Poly.
Yep, you saw the Baltimore Ravens make a living out of that this year.
Yeah.
And it really creates a problem for the defense numbers-wise when your quarterback can run.
A 4-2.
Yeah, exactly.
Really surprising the OC at the Ravens. didn't
Flies.
go first.
Yeah.
My gosh, he does remind you a lot of Michael Vick.
I know. Imagine Vic in that system.
I know.
Tailored to his skill set.
And it's just how long can he last in the NFL
Right.
doing that?
Can
that's
he-
the
yeah.
big thing.
And how long it is until one of the quiet big things that didn't happen this offseason was the OC there didn't get a head coaching job, and so he stays. And
Yep.
That's huge for continuity with a quarterback not having
a
to
lot
learn
of
a new
people
system.
expected him to get a head coaching job,
Right.
and then but no, the Ravens are going to still be the Ravens next year.
He's good.
Anyway.
And he's a good. He can throw the ball as well. You wonder. Michael Vick's career kind of ended when he couldn't run like he could run. He wasn't that perfect pocket passer.
He had the strong arm.
He's strong
But
arm.
Did have a strong arm.
But yeah, I agree. Lamar Jackson's got the accuracy and the touch to go with the running skills. That's why he's got a chance to last. Like you said, he's just got to stay clean, not take any big hits, which is tough to do up there.
Under 10 minutes to play. West now leading 42-20.
Good
this
for the
still
Oak
Frederick?
Park.
And that was Tyson
Yes.
Lundgren with his first catch of the day,
Yeah.
the Ray Park guy.
Yes, Tyson Lundgren gets the catch. And good for the Oak Park coach. He's keeping that Ogora quarterback in there, giving him a shot to get some good reps.
Right.
Rotating his guys, getting everybody a good look here at the All-Star game. Well,
Kept it. Frederick keeps it. Couple yard gained. Going to bring up 3rd and short.
So we got to start talking MVP. Who were? I mean, we got a couple guys right now.
Harris, Sherrod.
RJ,
yeah, RJ Maria is a sneaky because
right? Or the receiver.
Fonts.
Fonts has 2.
No, Kyrie Wilson.
Kyrie Wilson.
Oh,
has
Kyrie
2.
Wilson has 2, yeah.
Fonts has 1, plus he took one down to the end there.
He did. Yeah, he set it up.
You could give it to Maria, you could give it to Harris, and
Harris has run the ball really hard too.
I'm thinking it's Harris.
Yeah, that's my guess. But we still have a lot of
We'll
football to
see.
play.
he's got some time.
Wow. Nice move by
Nice
Frederick.
job by Frederick. Picked up the first down on 3rd and short.
Scrambles for at least 8, make it 9.
Didn't want to get hit there. Saw some guys running after him.
Seriously.
7:32 left to play.
We haven't called Grady Liddell's name.
Yeah, we talked about him a little bit
We
early.
talked about him, but we haven't really called his name.
Yeah. I don't. Is he on?
Haven't
I
really
don't think he's
seen
on the
him.
field.
44. I haven't.
He was on the field early in the first half. He might be taking a break.
And Jesse Valenzuela, I think, is committed to Western Colorado, if I've heard
Certainly got that
correctly.
offer.
Yes.
Yes, he has that offer for sure.
Quentin Pooler now on the field playing left defensive end.
You know who we haven't talked much about is Jaden Klein out there at linebacker.
Yes.
Out of Ventura. And he did everything for them from playing linebacker. And then he played, in my offense, I call it the H-back.
Yep.
Where he's lining up at the wing. And what they did a lot with him is run the ball from the H-back. Little reverse.
Especially
and,
against Buena. They ran for almost 400 yards against Buena.
I mean,
Yeah.
it was unbelievable. They did a great job.
And hey, it
That's a
makes
good-
sense if you have that kid there at that H-back.
Tim Garcia does a good job with that program.
Yes, he does.
And when they played Agoura, that was our first game that we did. They were so much further ahead. I know they had a coaching change, but they were just so much further ahead as far as being ready to play football. And they had a good offensive line and got after it. One of the best games of the year that we did was the Newberry Park Ventura game where, we talk about
Second
Ben
week.
running it. Ben ran it for 55 yards to win the game at the
Yeah,
end.
that was a great game.
It really was.
Leyva,
Makes a man miss in the backfield.
no gain.
And they just run that little trap play.
It's going to be 3rd and 9.
Is Leyva got anything going?
I don't.
I haven't heard,
No.
to be honest. He's got the numbers.
He does. He's on the smaller side, but he certainly
had
has
heck of a-
speed and
He made special teams plays too.
Yeah.
He played defense. Like
He's listed at 5'11", 185. So
that's one thing that when I watched the Simi game, they were very well coached on special teams.
yeah,
They
they
did a
had
heck of a job.
the kid from Chicago made a bunch of plays.
They beat
What was his
up
name?
Royal special teams was.
Yes. Well,
Not Royal, Moore Park.
the kid from Valencia at Simi, the linebacker, DeYoung,
Yeah,
he had a heck of a
huge
year.
Yeah, he was an all-county kid for us. It's going to be 4th down here. As the East are kind of running out of.
I think did Leyva come from El Camino Real?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
El Camino Real. Yeah.
And so a kid from Valencia and a kid from El Camino Real.
Yeah.
Where was the quarterback from?
Throckmorton came from
Oaks.
Crespi?
Yeah, I think he
Was
I
it
think
Crespi
both.
or-
Oaks guy?
I'll say this about Coach Benkert going out to see me, and you're like almost walking distance from some of the best programs around.
know.
Grace, Sierra Canyon,
Yep.
the Chaminade.
Yep.
And
You got your Royal, your rival Royal there. Like that's not easy territory.
No.
You're fighting over guys, and
You could tell that.
Uh-oh, Sherrod's going to try and make a case for the MVP
he wants a
here.
96-yard punt return.
Yeah, he's good.
The off.
Steps
that
out
was
of bounds,
close.
about the 35-yard line.
That would have sealed it up for me.
Yeah,
if he would've
I
taken it
think
to the
Bankert
house.
saw, a lot of Simi kids would leave Simi, and they'd go to the Oaks Christians and the Chaminades and,
And
the
the Moore
Moore Parks.
Westlake.
And the
Moore Park's
Westlakes.
really feeling it.
Yes, and they're feeling now that Bankert's keeping those kids. So,
And he's close to the Valley kids.
right.
Yeah.
Right? So I always said if you could, as a young guy, if I wanted to be a head coach, one of the SEMI schools could be a monster.
Right, and that's
I mean, he returns. So Coach Banker returns a lot of players next year. Especially, I was so impressed with that quarterback. I really was when I saw him.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
He looks like the
Convincing.
real deal.
Yeah.
A lot of people thought Jim Banker was going to leave this offseason.
Right. Well, he had a chance to go to the Calabasas, but he decided that he didn't want to go.
So that tells you he knows he has something over
Yeah.
there
There's a
for next year.
Field time dispute I heard from going over there. Not sure what exactly it
I'm gonna
was.
cut Joe's mic.
You know, it's hard to be honest in the media.
That is
isn't it?
a Malik
Joe.
Sherrod run.
Having too much fun up here.
It is there is less than 5 minutes to play in the All-Star game. So what's next for you? Let's break a little news here.
Well, what's next for me? I'm not ready to break news. I will tell you this: my kids are going to be back for their 8th grade year playing football. I coach
What's
them
the
in
quarterback's
basketball.
name? Brady.
Brady.
Here's a name for you. Brady Schmeigel.
He's
Newberry Park.
What year is he? 8th grade now?
going to be an 8th grader. He's
Okay.
a 7th grader right now. But it's a really good group. I really enjoy coaching them. It's, when you have kids that you've had for a long time, they buy in the system. And even though they're younger, I'm still implementing high school stuff to them. I mean, Keith actually called the offense for me this year. So
That's quite the youth staff you put together.
And we were no huddle. We got after people. But it's and then we'll see what happens. I mean, I love coaching kids, and hopefully at some point I can get back to doing that at the high school level. So we'll see.
3rd and 7. McNamara for the West. Scrambles to his right, throws a ball up for Valenzuela.
Oh, dropped, had it in his hands.
I don't think he caught that.
Yeah, they're waving it off.
Complete.
Oh.
So then it'll be 4th.
Valenzuela, a little frustrated, throws the ball.
That was Nolan Ryan throwing the ball.
Yeah.
It wasn't a change
Fired
up.
it.
No.
It wasn't a change up. It was the old number 1.
So do we expect him maybe to join?
I wasn't
Julio
stealing
Ray.
signs, but
Yeah, I think
it looked like the number 1.
With 3 minutes left in the 4th. You didn't hear the trash can?
It was a number, yeah. Or the vibrating,
right.
thing. Was it the trash can which keyed him off to the
think
number
the
1?
I think they had multiple methods.
I mean, that's terrible.
It hurts the integrity of the game. To
It
be honest,
does.
you hate to sound like
Major
a
League
media member
Baseball,
like that, but it
my
does.
gosh.
Lauren Ledeen had an amazing story. He talked to Jack Wilson, the Thousand Oaks High, former
Right.
Pittsburgh Pirate and Seattle Mariner shortstop, about stealing base. I mean, I was a baseball player. If I was on second base in college and I didn't help pick signs,
Right.
you'd get kangaroo court penalties.
Right.
You had to do it, but being on second and seeing what the catcher's putting down, it's a little different than using a
camera.
video camera from
Yeah.
center field.
It's terrible.
Using the
It
instant
really
replay.
is awful. Especially it happened to
Yeah.
the Dodgers twice,
It'll be interesting to
bad.
see if anything comes out of it, if the league is done with
And it ruined some
penalties.
careers.
Well, I've heard.
Darvish, is that the kid that got
Yes.
just absolutely destroyed and lost so much money in arbitration? I mean,
Clayton Kershaw can't get that playoff monkey off his back, and now he's looking at this and
they
thinking,
knew
no
what
wonder.
was coming. I mean,
Changes history.
yeah, it changes history. And you can't go back and say, we're going to give the pennant to the Dodgers.
Right. No,
You just got to vacate it.
Yeah. You
I
can.
think,
my opinion, you
I think
vacate it.
I think vacating is a good option, because the thing about it is, you're never gonna. Those people are never going to talk about winning those titles,
Right. But
because it's basically been vacated by the court of public opinion anyway.
Right.
So you might as well just go ahead and do it.
time cures everything, correct?
Yes, it does.
And so if it's
people
still
forget.
there in 50 years, it's still there. And are they still going to be talking about it? I mean, there's no asterisk next to it. But
Right.
point being is, if they do vacate it, then they're really saying the integrity of the sport is messed
was
up.
compromised at that point. yeah.
Right. And they're admitting to it instead of saying, okay, we're going to fine them and this is going to go away. They're going to make the Astros apologize. I mean, come on.
Well,
They didn't. Well, okay.
I'm the first one to tell you apologies only go so far.
All right, so the West is back in a punting formation, 4th and long.
Let's see who the East decides to put in at quarterback for this drive.
You would think Jared would be up, right? Yeah, he's out there with the ball. He's
Yeah.
going
Yeah.
out there.
Looks like
He's out there with his boys.
all the Fillmore kids are going
Yeah.
out there for
I like it.
a 2-minute drive.
You got 4 Fillmore kids on the field right now.
Yeah,
Look at that.
I mean,
Go grab the headset.
I know.
Call some plays here.
that's
for
a
one last-
proud papa right
I
there.
know.
No.
I feel a little weird not calling the plays for these guys.
We should get. Let's just call him.
2:32.
Let's call Casey and say, do you
2:29.
mind if we call this last drive of the game? He'd do it.
And we got some Newberry Park receivers. They'll know the calls.
Yeah. Casey Webb's a good dude.
Yeah, I like Casey. We have our scrimmage together, or Fillmore and Oak Park have had their scrimmage together for a while. And
He's a good guy. He's got a good family, and he does well at Oak Park. And Oak Park's lucky to have him, that's for sure.
Chevrolet from the shotgun. Nunez with the take. Gets a yard or two, maybe.
See how nice I'm being today, Joe?
What's that?
I'm such a nice guy today.
It's an all-star game.
I know.
The competitive juice is not flowing through your veins so hard today.
No, when I
As
call
usual.
games, I'm pretty.
honest.
Oh, man.
Say honest.
No, there was that one game with
Bipartisan.
all the penties. It's almost unlistenable.
We won't have to mention that.
Jeez, that was
That
rough.
was radio, though. They like me doing that, right? There's no replay in radio, Joe.
Yeah, that's true.
Just out of reach there for Tyson Lundring from Shefferly.
3rd and 9 after that incompletion. 1:20 to play. Kind of like last chance saloon here for the East.
Yeah, why not go back to that same play they ran twice? Pick up the first down and touchdown earlier.
And what do you guys think of the day game? I kind of like it.
I like it
Fine
too.
with it.
The weather is nice.
Hey, I can make my deadline. The story's going to be in the paper tomorrow. That's the one upside from our perspective. Anthony gets to go home and have a nice night. By the way, we should say
Thank you.
a tremendous season by the man behind the camera, Anthony Placentia.
And for giving us Saturday afternoon up to do
Oh,
this.
nice catch from Fillmore
Fillmore to
connection there.
Fillmore.
Shefferly to Ryan Gonzalez for a first down. A little 10-yard out. Trust me,
it.
they've run that play more than once. That was a big first down pickup for us during the season. You know, Ryan Gonzalez as a junior broke his ankle in the summer, so he only got to play the second half of the season as a junior and came back as a senior and really impressed me with his leadership and going both ways. Played corner, safety, receiver.
Under a minute.
That's great.
Yeah, good kid. He's got some Division III roster spot offers and looking at
Last minute.
Why'd they call that inbounds? That's interesting. I guess
I think they want to get out of
he
here.
must have a date.
Yeah.
Well, Shefferly's going to scramble.
Back
To
in.
Gonzalez again.
That was a strike.
Yeah.
That's hard to throw it that way, too.
Opposite way,
Yeah.
right into his left, right-handed. You did a good job. I always tell him, get your body facing forward, your hips towards the line of
Yeah,
scrimmage.
Jared can play.
He was a little worried coming into this game. He said, Coach, the offensive linemen are a little bit taller in this game.
Is that what he said?
That's
in the
what
way?
he said.
Fillmore.
I said, you don't worry about it, just rip it.
He's had a nice game.
Yeah, and that great first drive. Get them going. Down 21-0.
Okay, Coach, that's 5 guys that time. Oh, again.
There we go. That's 3 in a row.
Fillmore highlight reel.
We're trying to get up there, get on the board fast.
And they are to the 13. That was a 17-yard hookup. Under 30 seconds to play.
They're going against the St. Bonaventure defensive back.
They're attacking.
19 seconds left. Did he bring 5 again? Got him.
He's going to take a shot. Oh, well, there's the no call on that one. Interesting. Looked like a similar play to earlier when they threw a pass interference flag. But, you know, with 7 seconds left,
7 seconds.
refs might have somewhere to be.
He kind of stopped, too.
He did.
You know?
Yeah, but sometimes you tell them stop to get the call.
Right.
You initiate the contact and
Especially
7
with the
seconds
head
left.
not turned around.
Yeah, 7 seconds left.
You'd like to see him get in here. Let's see a Fillmore to Fillmore connection.
Yeah, let's see. Oh, they moved over. They changed corners now. They put fonts on
him. Oh, boy.
Here we go. Here's
They
the
know
test.
where he's going.
Yeah. Let's see what kind of route he's going to run here. Oh, he still got it. Let's see.
Got him.
Touchdown. I love it. I love it. I saw a lot of that this year. Ryan Gonzalez scored 8 touchdowns in the season. Had over 800 yards receiving. Jared threw 24 touchdowns. So really
13-yard touchdown.
What a way to end it, huh?
Really awesome to
Jared
see.
Shefferly, Ryan Gonzalez. That makes it 42.
Getting some
And the
shout-outs
Fillmore
from the
fans in the
crowd.
crowd are giving Coach. That one's for you, Coach Miller. Fillmore
cool.
on the board.
Well, all 4 Fillmore players were in the game. Bryce Nunez and Connell Ferguson in there too. Awesome. Good for them.
That's the last play of the game. Did they even kick the extra point? I don't think so.
No.
42-26
The referees
is going to be the
were out
final.
of there.
Yeah. Well, like we said, the West had some great athletes out there today, and that really separated them. But the East fought. I think the East had a little more fight in them than we thought they would.
It was a fun game. It really was. It was nice calling it with you, Sean, and not bad with you, Charlie.
It could be better.
Well, thanks for having me on, guys. It was
It's always
a good time.
fun being up here.
It's nice.
Well, go and get that degree.
Yep.
Finish out that master's degree, and
then what?
I don't know. Whatever happens, you know, opportunities are always different in a year. And
Yeah.
we'll see what goes on. I'm really happy at Fillmore as a teacher.
Yeah.
Really happy with that. So, you know, no plans.
Yeah,
You know, so we'll see
exactly.
what happens.
And who knows? Maybe it's hard to be the head coach. It really
Yes.
is. And there's something to be said about being an assistant and being able to actually coach.
You're going to have to send Oak Park a thank you for putting all those
I know. Just got a shout out from Coach Matt Dollar. He was the Fillmore head coach for 15 years. He was happy to see how that ended as well.
That's great.
Let's give out I'm sure there's going to be an MVP.
Yeah, do we have word on
who would be ours?
Xavier Harris.
Yeah, I think
he ran it hard.
I'd be tempted to go R.J. Maria or Sherrod, but I think Harris
Maria,
had the
2
biggest
touchdown
impact.
passes. Sherrod,
Kyrie Wilson,
1
too.
touchdown. Kyrie Wilson, 2 touchdown catches.
Yeah.
I just like Xavier because the guy, his face got blown up in practice this week, and he decided, I'm still going to play in the All-Star game and score 2 touchdowns and run some people over. And
that's right.
Well, I'm sure the
took a face mask.
University of Montana was happy watching this game, seeing Fonts and Harris just tear it up.
But
that's a good get for 2 guys that, and Montana's.
Oh, they're going after the quarterback, too. They want Jaden, too. Jaden Jones.
Well, smart.
Jaden Jones is good.
Yes, he is.
So let's wrap it up. We haven't done the All-Star game in a couple of years, but, it's a lot of fun. Fun afternoon, fun Saturday. Huge crowd. And and we appreciate it. It's Joe Curley for Coach Sean Miller, Coach Joe Schmeigel.
Thanks for having me on, guys. Joe, nice to meet you.
That was great. You did a great job.
The Ventura College Sportsplex with a final score in the 47th annual Ventura County High School Football All-Star Game is West 42, East 26. We will see you this fall. Make sure you subscribe to the Ventura County Star.